overreach is a problem. And, you know, it rears its ugly head today when we have, okay, the Supreme Court doesn't outlaw abortion. They say, yo, kick it back to the states. And then people cry. It's the oddest thing. You have people that believe in the states should have some kind of say so. They don't want the federal government overreaching into their personal lives. And, you know, yeah, so if we have like states that are supportive of Jim Crow, and we have people that are, you know, supporting so, then those states will end up suffering in the war of ideas. If their economy is based on, you know, outdated, you know, principles and economic policies, they're going to suffer. And at a certain point, their voters are going to have to change their way of life or die.
That never happened in America. That never happened.
Okay, so listen, look at Mississippi. Look at all the outcomes in Mississippi. It's horrible. It's fucked up. Look at it. It is fucked up. So they want to sit down and hold on to their way of life. Look at West Virginia. Look, like, if they want to hold on to that shit, now, like, let them. Look at California. Look at New York. You know, obviously, you know, we do have problems with liberalism is going wild and going crazy. Look at the outcomes in over there. What I'm saying to you is, I'm sorry?
I thought we were talking about Gold War and the Voting Rights Act, bro. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm saying that if they stay with those outdated mindsets, the Jim Crow mindset, they would have suffered. They would have suffered.
Can you go back to what Dan was talking about, please? So that you
it's like the very Goldwater. I'm confused. I don't like. I think the conversation is evolving. You're saying that Barry Goldwater and his ilk wanted to maintain Jim Crow.
Yes.
And I'm saying that. I'm sorry?
Yes, obviously. They said it.
Yeah. Okay, so cool. And I'm saying that there would have been consequences. When we have something like the Great Migration, there's a brain drain. There's black people leaving the Jim Crow South for better opportunities. And look at the places that they went to. And look at the outcomes of those places. There's consequences for that mindset.
But that has nothing to do with the convo, because the Voting Rights Act is national. So I was arguing this was part of what animated the modern conservative movement. And just so you know, Southern states are happy being shitholes as long as there's no niggars there, and then they can disenfranchise. But let me just finish. But you also have national rights, not just state rights. And so if you're infringing upon citizenship, I don't think that states should be allowed to infringe upon citizenship. Our Constitution.
Absolutely agree.
Right,
I 1,000% agree. We don't have any disagreement about that.
Okay.
So, but Anthony,
I can't even finish my point. You talking?
It gets confusing, bro.
It's so bizarre. I can't even finish my point without somebody yelling in my ear. But you're talking about a brain drain. Yep.
So, Anthony, the problem is that you don't agree with a lot of what Ben said. So when you say you do agree with something, when you've shown us that you don't, you don't sound sincere. That's the problem. And I'm trying to be nice about it. I don't want to be mean because I'm still waking up. I haven't had my coffee. I can't bang right now. But yeah, you don't agree with ban at all. You've described laws like the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act of 1964 as laws that assign racial benefits and racial preferences to people who, I suppose, do not deserve them. That's how you've described those laws.
I said nothing about the civil rights law. Hurricane. Like, I understand. Like, so far it's been super civil. You know, nobody's banging. Nobody's, like, calling anybody out. Literally, where are you getting anything about, you know, the civil rights law? No one said anything about that. We've talked about the VRA.
Yes.
I'm saying
you're right. So
it's cool. It's cool. I'm glad we're able to agree that I'm right. But so
as well.
I know why you mentioned the Civil Rights Act, but before
why did I mention it? Why?
Because I spoke in general about laws that are beneficial based on race. So you're pointing out a law that was beneficial based on race. So what I would say,
you're mischaracterizing those laws, by the way.
Okay, cool.
Those laws were not enacted by Congress to assign benefits based on race. Those laws were passed by Congress to protect people who had a history of marginalization from further marginalization, which is why the Voting Rights Act, the Civil Rights Act, those laws prohibited discrimination based not only on race, but also on nationality, on religion. Now I'm talking about the Civil Rights Act of 1964. It said you can't discriminate on the basis of race, color, religion, and national origin.
Okay, so Hurricane, in 1964, we absolutely needed that. When the VRA got passed, we absolutely needed it.
Why did we?
For the reason you mentioned.
What reason?
For the reason you mentioned. The reason you mentioned. I'm not repeating what you mentioned.
Okay. There's
Black people were being disenfranchised.
There's also another reason we needed those laws, and it was something that Ban was getting at before he left the stage. He talked about William Buckley and Barry Goldwater and the other architects of the modern conservative movement who were upset that Jim Crow was coming to a close. They were upset because of the 1954 Brown versus Board of Education decision, which made racial segregation in schools unconstitutional. That's what this is all about, because that was the first serious blow to ideals that they held dear. The idea that America was for the white man and should remain so. The idea that the federal government had no business telling southern states to stop trampling on the federal rights of Black people and other minorities. That's what they were referring to. What we experienced last week is the culmination of a movement that began in the 1950s in the wake of the Brown decision. The modern conservatives have been upset since then, and they have raised countless numbers of people to carefully take apart these laws that were designed to protect groups of people from discrimination who needed protection. But you're booty clapping.
You see, now we're going to booty clapping. Hurricane, I don't want it to get disrespectful. All right? It's really simple. We're just talking, exchanging ideas, booty clapping, this, that, the other. We don't have to go down in the mud, bro.
Say booty clapping. Caping then, because you're caping for the people who just destroyed the Voting Rights Act. And your argument, your reason for doing so is that you believe that we don't need Section 2 anymore because racism is not that bad.
He's never heard of the Atwater.
So, all right, Todd, we're just having a quick back and forth, bro. I'm happy to just pass it to you. I just want to respond. Hurricane went on for a little bit. All right. So, listen, ultimately, in a world where we have like a 2-term Black president, in a world where, we have people that can come home from jail and, go to really good universities and get, jobs that pay them, quadruple the average American salary with their Black skin, that they can do this. In a world where these, things are possible, yes, racism still exists. It absolutely does. No one is denying the existence of racism. But at the same time, it's not. Things have vastly improved. Vastly.
Well, hold on.
And there's things that. Okay, hold on. Let me land. I can't hear you while I'm talking. All right, so if we hyper focus on race, it's not going to fix anything. It's not at a certain point. If we don't move forward, if we want to just sit down and consistently point out the flaws, it will and this is the point that Manfinity made earlier. It'll appear like we are unsatisfiable. There is no way of fixing the problem. We're at a point now where, okay, post VRA, post Civil Rights Act, we now talk about reparations. We now need money for slavery.
Straw man, nobody.
Of course, this is a straw man.
You can hear
Nobody's a straw man. Listen, Ben, I am not talking about what Ben is saying. I'm not talking about what Harvey King is saying. I'm talking about there's a bunch of black people that are, it's like post VRA, post civil rights. It's still a conversation. And as things get worse, as things get worse, there's still, the goalpost moves.
So, Anthony, I don't understand what you mean by
it's running around the world.
What do you mean by post-civil rights?
It's never good enough.
What does the Civil Rights Act? The post-Civil Rights Act.
At what point? Oh my God!
I didn't know they had
the Civil Rights Act still stands. If you want to talk about the VRA, the Supreme Court feels like it outlived its usefulness.
Gentlemen. Please, hold on. No. It's not that. No, we don't do this. It's too early for this shit. So please let him finish. Unless I will go out and something else one at a time now, because I believe Ben had something to say next, and then I believe Ty, and then you can say something, okay?
So,
I'm sorry, real quick, Marlene. Thank you, Lovely Hearts, and some money in your cash app for running the room. I have a dance recital with the baby today, so you are my love. I love you. You do a great job. Is it okay if you take over, babes?
Sure, although I can only take over for a certain amount of time because I don't usually come on Saturdays, but I'll back channel you if anything. If they're moms.
And you got T.I. over there, Sandra, all the regulars.
Well, we're good.
Mimi.
You can always mod me.
You can always mod Ben and Infinity.
Yes, exactly. No, well, never Manfinity. No offense, Manfinity.
All right, so
plenty of times.
Go ahead.
Anthony, I believe you were finishing your point, please.
Yeah, no problem on it. Listen, at what point are we going to say, we need to move forward? We can't blame other people for our current set of problems. At what point do we claim responsibility and autonomy for our state in this country? Like, when do we say, listen, I don't want to be judged by the color of my skin? When do we stop talking about the color of our skin? When do we start saying, I want to be judged by the content of my character? When is it not race? When is it us?
What's the topic?
When do we put the mirror up and take a hard look in the mirror and claim responsibility? At what point does that happen?
So you looking at
Sorry, I stepped out because somebody reset.
Okay,
What's
sorry.
the topic?
Yeah, because I was about to say the same thing. Because at this point, I'm not sure what we're talking about. But Ty, can you speak afterwards? Ben, you were making a good point, and I'd like you to actually get to respond and finish.
It sounded like you guys changed topics completely.
No, we didn't really change topics. It was just Anthony,
Yes, doing what Anthony does.
No,
So please get back to company.
So what are we talking about? The Voting Rights Act?
Yeah, but we're still there. We're still there because he says that he believes the Supreme Court rightfully determined that the Voting Rights Act Section 2 is no longer useful. We shouldn't be complaining about that.
because racism is not a thing really anymore. That's the rest.
It's not as bad. It's not as bad.
Please don't misquote me.
I'm sorry. As hurricanes, well, you don't believe that it's the. Sorry, Hurricane, you go. You can explain it for me.
Yeah. So two things. He said that he believes the Supreme Court rightfully decided that the Voting Rights Act Section 2 is no longer useful. We should not be crying about it. He also pointed to outliers for the proposition that Black people are doing very well. He talked about Barack Obama being a two-term Black president. He talked about former convicted felons making lots of money.
Yeah, I get to it. Cool.
Okay.
And those aren't serious comments. I mean, during the era of slavery, there were also very wealthy Blacks. And so since James Fortin exists and the Max Douglas family in Philadelphia, I guess slavery was fine too because they were, I mean, those aren't really serious points. Okay, it sounds like y'all changed your combo. Y'all can do your thing.
Do you guys mind? Sorry, I said I was leaving. I actually got my keys in my hand, but Malia's mad that she didn't get to play her clip. It's not that long. Do you guys mind? Because I told her to be the clip lady while I was getting my clothes on. And she
Can we just finish this round of conversation?
No, because we have to go out the door. It's not that long, sweetie. I promise.
Oh, that's your daughter?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just indulge her. She's a teenager. She's trying to get mommy. Okay, so I'm just going to do it so we can get out the door. I got my keys in my hand. If you guys don't mind, please. All right, here we go.
The 9th, I'm Ali Belsi, and there's a story unfolding right now in the
I
American
think it's actually a good one.
at the top of your news feed. I happen to think it's the most urgent problem facing every one of us today, no matter where in the country we live. It's a story you might even think you know because it started like so many second-term Trump emergencies, looking like a shameless power grab by a wannabe dictator facing the electoral consequences of a deeply unpopular regime. But two major developments in days have turned this cynical Trumpian scheme into a real-time deconstruction of our multiracial democracy. What we're witnessing as a result is the dawn of a new Jim Crow era, one that uses the same pernicious strategy of leveraging bad faith pretense and dirty to rob American citizens of their voting rights or of the weight and value of voting. The first part, the laying of the groundwork, you probably remember. Donald Trump was afraid of his party losing the midterms because his policies are so fantastically unpopular, so he set forth a plan of targeted gerrymandering to rig congressional district maps that Republicans would pick up extra seats without picking up any extra votes. It began in Texas with a phone call from Donald Trump to Governor Abbott. Last August, Trump states his desires very plainly.
We have an opportunity in Texas to pick up 5 seats. We have a really good governor, and we have good people in Texas. And I want Texas. I got the highest vote in the history of Texas, as you probably know. And we are entitled to 5 more seats.
Entitled. It spread state to state, anywhere with a Republican state house. One of the GOP-led states to block the request from Trump was Indiana, where a handful of state senators, Republican state senators, won the effort to change their state map. Trump was targeted then for retribution. In fact, this past Tuesday, in the Republican areas in Indiana, 6 of 8 Republican state senators who opposed Donald Trump's redistricting effort voted out by the MAGA base. They were replaced by divorced candidates. Across the country, some Democrats fought back. In California and Virginia, both states which believe that redistricting should be nonpartisan, Democrats organized referendums to allow voters, the ones who actually matter, the choice to adopt new maps as a sort of a counterbalance. So for a while, it was a fight. But then 2 rulings from 2 different courts changed everything. First, the U.S. Supreme Court effectively tore down the last real remaining pillar of the Voting Rights Act last week, erasing protections that were designed to preserve the voting power of Black communities. That cleared the way for southern states to redraw districts in ways that will unquestionably dilute Black voting rights, eliminate Black majority districts, and roll back Black representation in Congress. And they rushed to do exactly that. Louisiana, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, and South Carolina all began the process for implementing new maps. On Thursday, Tennessee's governor signed into law a congressional map. This is what's hard to see. That these two maps look the same. Look at the one on the left, look at the bottom left corner, the little blue thing, and look at the one on the right. This new congressional map eliminates the only majority black district in the entire state, which is the Democratic-held district surrounding Memphis. You can see how they did it on this map. They took the 9th congressional district, which included Memphis and its surrounding area, and split it into 3 different districts. In gerrymandering speak, that's what's known as cracking. You take a concentrated population of voters and you crack the block into separate districts, diluting the voting power of that group. Every eligible voter in Memphis will get to vote this November, but their vote will mean less by design. Yesterday, a legislative committee met in Louisiana to discuss a map which would eliminate 1 of 2 majority black districts in that state. Louisiana is 1/3 black, and under the new map that erases a black majority district, the state will have 1/6 black majority congressional districts. Mind you, 40,000 people have already voted in the state's primary, which has now been suspended. Alabama Republicans are attempting to fast-track a new map targeting 2 dominantly black congressional districts. Over a quarter of Alabama's population is black. They may not have a single representative in Congress after this. They'll still get to cast a ballot this November, but their votes will mean less. But Mississippi Republicans will convene for a special session on 20th to discuss new state Supreme Court maps. It took Florida Republicans no time to pass a new map which targeted 4 Democratic seats. South Carolina Republicans are trying to eliminate the state's lone Democratic seat held by Congressman Jim Clyburn. But the Republican state Senate there, the leader there isn't fully convinced just yet. But if they do push forward, they will have to delay their state's primary. And then yesterday, the other shoe dropped. The Virginia Supreme Court ruled that the state's new map, the one that would have benefited Democrats, the one voted in by the citizens of Virginia a couple of weeks ago, is unconstitutional. The ruling was essentially procedural. The referendum to redistrict was a constitutional amendment, and Virginia has a strict process for enacting constitutional. In a 4-3 split decision, judges found a flaw how the referendum was brought to Virginia voters, and they threw it out without regard for the fact that they voted. Virginia voters voted 2 weeks ago to approve the amendment, which is to say that the state Supreme Court in Virginia has invalidated 1.6 million votes. It's invalidated the clear preference for Democratic governance in Virginia that Virginia voters have voted for loud and clear since last November. You may be wondering how in a functioning democracy we can land in such a place, where Louisiana's governor can suspend an election to push through a new map, and in Tennessee it takes 4 business days to disenfranchise 1 million black voters. Florida, Mississippi, and Alabama pushing through new maps, but Virginia can hold a whole election to decide on the new map by popular vote, and the will of the people gets tossed out by the courts. This is like flashing red warning light that we are slipping out of being a functional democracy right now in real time. A patchwork legal system for drawing congressional maps means some states, like California, have nonpartisan redistricting commissions. Virginia is also bipartisan. And other states leave it up to their legislature. In Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Republicans hold veto-proof majorities in the state legislature. Which doesn't matter because the governor's a Republican anyway. They wouldn't veto it. But this means fewer legal hurdles to jump. In Florida's case, they just ignored their state constitution entirely. Back in 2010, Florida voters passed an anti-gerrymandering amendment. Florida's new map is being challenged on that basis, but the Florida Supreme Court is packed with Ron DeSantis allies, so again, it's not going to matter. Let's be clear, this system diminishes the power of everyone's vote. You may not live in Louisiana or Tennessee or Alabama or Mississippi, but if we are living in a system where everyone's vote doesn't carry the same weight, it means your vote is diluted too. Doesn't matter how hard you vote Democrat in California or New York, if the system is rigged in half a dozen southern states, that is where democracy is defeated. In the abstractions, in the corrupting little power grabs and screams. Democracy is not defeated because somebody stands up and says, democracy ends on Tuesday. It's defeated in the dozens or hundreds of smaller malevolent moves against it. Right now, this is the most important one. Democrats were always the underdogs in this fight. Their approach to mid-decade redistricting was retaliatory. Democratic white-led redistricting has been framed as a necessary offset to Trump's push in Republican-led states. The disenfranchisement of black voters we're seeing now is the culmination of a larger political project that relies minorities, and it's going to take more than a few extra seats in California to fight. What this country needs to start thinking about is a new reconstruction, nonpartisan, nationwide redistricting, campaign finance restrictions, easier elections, or at least elections that are easier to vote in, and a fair and just Supreme Court. The response to measured autocracy cannot be improvised. It cannot be improvised retaliation. Let me tell you about the states that have already enacted new maps and the party which stands to benefit from each. In Texas, Republicans could gain 5 seats, 1 seat in North Carolina, 1 or 2 in Ohio, 3 or 4 in Florida, 1 in Tennessee. Democrats, on the other hand, could gain 5 seats in California, 1 in Utah. Louisiana.
Okay, sorry, I gotta go. Thank you. I hope you guys
Thank your daughter for that. It was a great clip. Let her know it was an amazing clip. Thank you so much.
I'll put her cash app up. She's gonna be our clip person from now on because we lost somebody. I don't know where the hell Haitian is, but anywho. Okay, bye. Bye, you guys. Bye. Love you guys all. Have a good conversation.
Bye.
All right, cool. Time is that.
Ty's not here.
Can I make an observation? I think it was my turn to make an observation. Excuse me, Elder. It's my turn to make an observation of the conversation between Hurricane, Dan, and Anthony over the last couple hours. And my observation is this. Anthony, as you mentioned in a past conversation many months ago on a different stage, or probably this stage, there are people in this country who truly believe that we can go back into slavery. And they're very concerned about it. I'm not saying that's true of Dan or Hurricane. I'm just saying.
That talked about it as a temporary stopgap for overt racism. That's how you want to believe it, because you don't know the statute, you don't know the history, you don't know about the civil rights movement, you don't know post-World War I American history. You want to do the long civil rights movement from the 1930s through 1968. You're assuming that's the thing. But what I find frustrating is, and strange is, only on the laws that came out of the Negro's oppression is it temporary. How about some of the laws protecting guns? Should we repeal those? Would conservatives repeal those because they put the laws in just as temporary protections? Has anybody ever noticed, nobody ever talked about that? Should we repeal the 19th Amendment? Giving women the right to vote, I believe it was 1920, because it was temporary. Only a certain set of laws were temporary because there was racism for a little while, and then we get rid of it because we don't need it anymore. If it's not hurting anything, why mess with it? If it's not hurting anything, I have a scab on my leg. What'd your mom say? It's not hurting anything? It's fine. Well, it's not bleeding anymore. The wound is not getting dirt in it. That scab, leave it alone, boy. You end up picking it. Oh shit, it's pink and pussy underneath it. Just leave it alone.
But what Anthony is
do you see how you get the? It's incredible.
I thought you stopped. It's not intentional.
Inhale.
It's not intentional.
All right. I
intentional.
inhale. Once you hear I'm still going, just mute up.
All right, I'm sorry, but it's not intentional.
I'll let you know when I'm done. I just inhale. Breathe in, breathe out. If you're mic'd up, shout to Ludacris. Anyway, I just inhale, bro. So when you all say that it was meant to be temporary, that's what you've construed in your mind.
Which is, I think the court recognizes that at a time where there was
You
overt
don't have a
feeling.
position. Let's move on.
My position, Scott Tanger, my position is that when there was overt racism in society, in a quote unquote an unconstitutional measure was allowed in that context. In today's context, where the courts have decided that things have improved beyond the need for it, now they think it's time to repeal it. So you don't need to go around and repeal guns rights and this and other thing, because this is a specific issue regarding race relations in society and how they deem things have improved. It's different. You can't apply that standard to every amendment and every constitutional thing and say, oh, let's go back and remove the guns rights and women's rights. That's why that conversation That's why that point doesn't win.
So, Tiana,
respectfully, it lands because you don't know what they argued. And so you're suggesting something that you don't know to be the case. You're arguing from your mind. That's not what they said. You should go and read it.
So why were they okay with it in 1965?
Go and read it. Well, the reason why it was allowed before is because the court changed. Come on, man, we can't do the basics. You know this has not been the same Supreme Court for all of America.
Of course.
Obviously,
I'm sure they have a take on why.
May I finish? Do you mind? May I finish? Do you mind, sir?
I'm sure Leo has a take on why.
So the point was the court changed, and these particular jurors came up. That's why I was bringing up the Barry Goldwater and all that stuff, because they are within a particular ideology. It's not about the fact that the racism got better. In fact, in his opinion, Alito cited sources incorrectly. The people that made the data he cited have come out and said he cited our data wrong. It's a mess. They just don't think that states should be allowed to do what they want to do. That's all it is. It has everything to do with an ideology. You don't want to talk about an ideology. You want to talk about black people complaining and black people this and their victims, and then we eventually talk about baby mamas and all this kind of stuff. I just want to stick to the jurisprudence and the politics of it and the history of it. All this personal stuff, you guys have beefs with each other. It's kind of boring at this point. It's like season 28. It's boring. We can just go and read it. Go and read what he said. Go read a summary. Put it in AI. Put it in what's named AI. The point is that conservatives of Alito's ilk and the people that signed along with him do not believe in the fundamental tenets of that kind of federal oversight. They don't. The effects of it be damned. They don't care. I'm done.
Something else intervened and he was going to use a voting right back. He wants that they move.
Your mic is muffled, Hurricane.
I'll be back in a second.
He said you should go and read the book. So you've never read the Voting Rights Act? Wait. I thought everybody in the conversation has read the Voting Rights Act. You know about it. Infinity, you don't know about the Voting Rights Act?
Yeah, so I was saying, Infinity, you keep on saying that the Voting Rights Act was passed to address overt discrimination only. That's not true. The Voting Rights Act was also passed to address results that were discriminatory, results flowing from laws and practices that didn't look discriminatory on their face. That's what Congress decided to do in 1982 because it realized that the southern states become more sophisticated in their voter discrimination. They were passing laws and engaging in practices that didn't differentiate on the basis of race, but still had racist effects. And so they said that Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act should make unlawful any practices that looked neutral but had racist effects.
I did say about the overt thing, but I didn't say only. I know there's other things that I'm blind to because I haven't done the deep dive. So I've never
have a combo. So one thing I respectfully, anybody else can do it. Like, or we can have a room where we break it down like that. But let us have the combo. One thing that I find frustrating about conservatives is why not strike down the literacy test bit? Well, and this is where it feels very, very partisan to me and not constitutional. Why not strike down the literacy? I don't know, Infinity, if you know, or anybody else. The Voting Rights Act, it's 1965, it has amendments to it. Part of the amendments that they have to it, because you amend laws, will be things like the literacy test. Why is any of it constitutional? This is what I find so frustrating about conservatives, because they do things. This feels like a particular kind of partisan and some will say racial attack. Get rid of all of it. If you believe in states' rights, why can't states decide who votes in their elections? if you can't read this thing, you shouldn't be able to vote. That's what's so frustrating. If we move so far forward, if I move so far forward racially, why do we still need the literacy tests or the poll tax exclusions? You see what I'm saying? You guys are making the argument that the court believes we move so far racially. Then why is the Civil Rights Act of 1964 still constitutional? Why is Title VII still constitutional? Why is Title IX we move so far? Why are all these things still fine if we move so far racially? So I just don't. It just seems to be just totally partisan. And then the court, after they struck it down, there's usually, I believe, 60 days for implementation. 32 days for implementation. They allowed implementation to go right so that these places could change their maps. Now, what does that have to do with race and the Voting Rights Act? Infinity, Anthony, and other people who were supporting the court's decision. Why they waived the 32-day waiting period? Infinity, Anthony? Anybody? Do you guys know about the 32-day waiting period?
It is a time-sensitive matter. That's what I'm guessing. Unit is a time-sensitive matter that needed to be addressed. But that's the only thing I can think of. Why do you think they waived it, man?
I think they waived it so that Republican states could eliminate Democratic seats. It feels wildly partisan.
So, Anthony, you don't know what the 32-day waiting period is. Whenever the Supreme Court issues...
Well, he does. Ask him.
Okay, do you know that...
I don't know, Hurricane. I have no idea. This is the first time I heard about the 32 days.
Oh, but you just gave an answer to it. You said it was time sensitive.
No, I said yes. This is why. And so, and you know, the irony is we're saying the same thing.
No.
I don't think you're wrong when you say it was partisan in that way. I agree with you. You know what? We don't you about
Anthony, they don't want you
arguing.
Anthony, they don't want you to have an opinion on something without reading it first. You have to go read about it first. No, let me finish, please. Anthony, they don't want you to have an opinion on anything until you go and read and understand it all, and then you can have an opinion. Before you do that, if you have an opinion, they want to marginalize.
Anthony, be quiet. He even cuss up Anthony. He's so rude, yo.
Andrew, let me just...
Because y'all make that point. If you don't read and research,
He's moved to the audience because he doesn't have decorum. And the fact that he cut off Anthony when Anthony was speaking was insane. So I know Hurricane wants to get in there. Anthony, if you finish what you said, or did you finish what you said, Anthony? Like, did you need to...
You know, yeah, she really is. So as it relates, yeah, I know. But man, I don't disagree with you. I do think it was partisan, and the reason why they would have, done away with the 32 days. And I knew nothing about the 32 days.
Are you curious about it? Because it's
Hurricane, I'm happy for you to explain it. Yes, I am curious, and you got it, and I'll mute up. Thank you.
Okay, so there's this thing called due process that we all agree is important, right? And so whenever you have a lawsuit that moves through the litigation process, we've created a system that allows each side to have a fair chance to litigate its case. And so whenever the Supreme Court decides a case, the losing side has 32 days to ask the Supreme Court to rehear the case. Sometimes the Supreme Court says no. Occasionally, the Supreme Court may say yes. And during that time, the decision is held in abeyance and does not have any effect. So, for 32 days, normally, the Calais decision would not have gone into effect, and it would have given the losing side a chance to ask for a rehearing, which it had a legal right to do. The conservative justices took that legal right away from the losing side for no good reason. That's what Ben was talking about. They denied the losing side.
Why do you think they did that, Hurricane?
For partisan reasons. And because they really want to make it easy for state governments that want to disenfranchise disenfranchise minority voters to do so, and they didn't want to waste any time. That's why they did it. In fact, it was such an outrageous thing that Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson wrote a dissent. That's how terrible it was, and she decided that she was going to spend her precious time dissenting from it because there was no reason to do it.
No reason, so we can win, bro. You gotta do the same thing. Are you crazy? Of course it's politics. Stop with this shit, bro. Stop being so naive. You know the truth. It's all politics. Y'all do the same thing. So of course, when I think this is really partisan, guys. Yeah, no shit. What are you guys talking about?
And so you weren't here, and so that's what we were saying. And so to suggest it has everything to do with changes in America and law is capped. That's literally what we're saying. You don't need to participate. You don't need to respond to everything. That's literally what we were saying. That's why I brought it up. It's okay to stay on mute. I was able to. I'm able to stay on mute. Not talk a lot.
It's all right.
And whether you're responding right now, it's just totally.
Because I can bring some sense to the room. If you don't think you learn,
Please stop interrupting, Melvin.
I just don't understand why. You bringing sense is repeating what we said while you weren't here.
Well, then enjoy your echo chamber. Fine.
And so you were literally echoing me.
You were sitting here. It was really partisan. Yeah, no shit.
I know that. That's what people were suggesting before it wasn't partisan. We're talking about the 32-day rule. Do you know the 32-day rule?
I don't. I'm not really concerned about it, bro. We're gonna do what we can.
We were talking about you and left. Yo, man, this act is insane.
It's called.
You know, bro,
It's so bizarre.
you're doing little tantrums, bro. You're like
This
a lot.
act is so bizarre.
And you're making one boy.
We're having a convo, and you come in and you don't care about what we were talking about. So fuck us.
I was listening for a while.
Dude, go on, talk.
Crazy.
Tell us something.
All right, tell us. Go ahead, Mom.
Well, no, I'm just you guys are sitting here bitching and crying because the conservatives are winning at the game that you guys are doing too. I'm sorry.
That's not
the way it fucking goes.
Bitching or crying. We were trying.
Oh yeah, you are. You've been doing it all morning. Republicans bringing slavery or Jim Crow. You don't even lie to me with your intellectual dishonesty, bro. Don't sit here and fucking gaslight us and lie and say this isn't don't even fucking sit here and act like you're not bitching about this and crying. You were fine with it when Obama and the Democrats were doing this years ago. Now you're mad because we're winning in your fucking game.
Okay, Chino.
Now you want to stack the courts.
Give me one second. Give me one second, Hurricane Scrub. Oh, he went on mute. Okay.
All right. So I was mainly bringing up. I really don't know how to respond, but nothing triggers dummies than an educated, articulate nigga. It is insane the level of disrespect that people give for no reason. I haven't been bitching or crying. My main 2 points was one about the history of the conservative movement in the 50s and 60s, and two, how it could actually backfire. I actually said it could be a political advantage. But I guess because I'm not a dumb, violent, vile, beastly, baby mama, inarticulate, non-educated, bad credit, dumb on the news nigger, I have to be disrespected. It's absolutely insane. I mean, but again, Mimi said I was on welfare the other day and I talked down to people because I'm really a loser. So I guess let me go back on welfare and get these food stamps. I'm done speaking.
Don't forget to use your eat. Don't forget to.
Be quiet. I did not say you was on welfare. Stop. No, I didn't.
How can you remember? You were so drunk. You don't remember
So what I do remember what I said, and I say y'all. I didn't say Ben.
You did. You responded to me. It's okay.
I say y'all.
So Mimi, when you said welfare opera singing, who else would you have been
When
singing?
I was saying not you individually. It was like people on welfare, people singing opera. Not saying you were on welfare. Come on now,
Let me go. Well, but they just cut off soda from the EBT. I'm gonna go see if I can get soda off my food stamp.
Well, who knows? I mean, if I said that and he's still tripping off of it,
It might be some truth to it.
You're right. You're right.
I was talking. Let me tell you something, Dan. I was talking shit, just like you always talk shit.
I never.
You crash out. You think you do. You always talk. You talk down. Listen, you're doing it. You're doing it now. You're doing it now. You're doing it now.
Listen.
You're doing it now. You're being sarcastic. You're being passive aggressive. No. You said my name, and I'm answering to it. And I'm answering to
So
it.
what did I say about you?
Okay. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers for tomorrow. Dude, I'm not trying to argue. To be so strong, right? And to be so strong and talk so much shit every day. You so weak. You take this shit so personal. You take shit. All I did was talk about the opera singing. All I said, did I say your name? I said opera singing. Y'all all be singing opera in there. Y'all all be singing in there.
I sing opera.
Everybody knows. Lady be singing. Everybody be singing in there. Y'all all got voices. Concrete be singing. Concrete be singing in there.
Guys.
Nobody's on welfare.
You want to act like crackheads?
I said in general, people on this app are on disability. This room has been going on since 7 o'clock yesterday Central.
Yeah, I woke up and came back.
If y'all just want to bang and the conversation is done, just let us know, because some people have barely slept just for this room to go on. Because it's really not that serious.
Starting that day, so we would like.
Oh, BT, now you're not the one I want to hear from. But anyway, it's Mother's Day tomorrow. Can we at least pretend like we were weird, right? Just for 2 days.
No.
Who's next?
And can I say something really quickly? Can I say something?
No.
Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
I have a lot of respect and love for the people in this room, and I want to hear your opinions. But it's difficult to hear the opinions when we're fighting over each other. And so, if we could just make our points, not interrupt people, so that we can listen. Yes, Ben, I have a lot of love and respect for you. Hurricane Anthony, Reform, Mimi, Lisa, Sandra, Michael. Like, if we could just listen to each other. It was a beautiful conversation, and I learned a lot from these discussions. So I know other people learned too, but if you need to do more research, you have a device, because you're on the app, right? Do that in the meantime. Or else people in the back channel. So if we can get back to the topic, it would be great. Love you guys.
Which they could not have before. It opened the door for wheelchair accessible facilities, which people did not have before. Civil rights. We're still talking civil rights. It opened the door for LGBTQ to get any type of legal status. So the first thing I want everyone to really think about is, because of the fact that people actually fought for the Civil Rights Act to pass, for Voting Rights Act to pass in the first place, we have to thank the people that did that. However, conservatives since 1965 wanted to take those rights away, because in their mind it's just a war. It's nothing more than that to them, a war. So as a result of many people, and we see a lot of minorities that have actually also have more rights now. So first and foremost, the elimination, the extraction, basically, of the Voting Rights Act is not only against Black people. Keep that part in mind. They are going after everyone. So because of the fact that it was majority Black people in the beginning who actually fought for this right, that is who everyone is assuming this will affect only. This is also how the Republicans are reacting. This is all they think that really matters. Well, okay, fine. What I want everyone to try and really grasp is that there is a bigger picture behind what they are doing, and that is the part that we are not seeing. So if we continue to focus only on this, we are going to miss what they are really doing, because there's a lot more going on. It is a different day. This is 2026. It is not 95. Black people, brown people, whatever color you'd like to name people, that's up to you, because we're 99% the same. Whatever color you want to name people, everyone needs to pay attention to the fact that no one is safe. As long as they are continuing to create an authoritarian government, this is no longer red and blue. You have to really closely look at everything they are changing in terms of laws, everything that they are taking away from people. This is where civics is a very big deal. This is where I'm going to do my part to actually really focus on teaching more people about civics. I'm not saying I'm like the overall expert, because I'm not. So the point is, everyone has to do their part in making sure that everybody understands exactly what the next move is, because they are not going to let up. And I'm not saying I'm red or blue because I'm nonpartisan, but I am watching what is happening. And this is wrong. This is wrong. What is happening for everyone on all levels. So everyone has to pay attention to what is happening. It does not matter if you're an MAGA. They do not care.
Say the end goal. What do you say the end goal?
Who's the they? And when you say they don't care, international, who are you referring to when you say they?
I am referring specifically to the people that are making these decisions. Is that not clear?
So you mean the Republicans in power?
No. I'm saying only the Republicans in power, because the Republicans in power are making their decisions based on the orders that they are receiving. So we're talking about a select group of people.
And what party do you think those? What party do you think those people are affiliated with?
I mean, do we actually have to go through this?
It's the youth. Move on.
You know, it's important international, because now you're presenting a conspiracy theory.
No, it's not a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. If you watch very closely, there is one person that is president. There is one person that is deciding what is happening, and that is based on Project 2025.
Okay.
This is no conspiracy.
What party is responsible for Project 2025?
Oh my goodness. I don't even understand why you would ask me something.
Well, because you're saying that you're nonpartisan, and you're trying to suggest that the parties are equally responsible for the BS that we find ourselves in. When in fact the GOP is responsible for Project 2025, the GOP is responsible for giving Trump his marching orders. The GOP is responsible for creating circumstances that allowed Donald Trump to become president.
Okay, but why are you asking me this if we know this already and we know what the topic is?
I'm not sure we know this.
No, you're being condescending at this point.
Lady, don't try me. You guys always do this. You guys always do this.
Okay, I don't know who you're referring to. I don't know who you guys are, because I am a lady, so let's be clear on that part.
Okay.
But I'm going to try and complete what I'm saying, okay? I want everyone to just see that there is a bigger picture here.
And what is the bigger picture?
So I can't talk?
You can.
Thank you. So I want everyone to see that there is a bigger picture here, that we do need to focus more on civics and doing our part. We do need to focus more on understanding Project 2025 in order to really see what the strategy is and what it's about. Because it's not only black and brown, and it's not only Democrat. End of the day, okay, this is about money. And if you do not fit within that stratosphere that they are in, you do not count. So the most important thing we can all do right now is realize that them striking down the Voting Rights Act is in fact to put black people out front again. Just as black people fought for it, they're putting black people out front again around everyone else. So Black people have to decide, do we ever want to be bothered with this?
Are you Black?
What does it matter?
Can't you tell? She's not.
Oh, well then why are you telling us Black people need to decide if you're not Black? I don't understand.
Who's asking that?
I'm asking that. Does it matter?
No, I'm just trying to find out who.
Well, does it matter? Does it matter?
I'm trying
Let's
to
move around. Let's move around.
I'm trying to see who's speaking.
Respectfully, international.
Well,
I'm gonna move forward in the conversation. We gotta move
Well,
on.
I am going to say one thing. For my entire life, I have had too many Black people tell me I'm not Black.
You better
So
not
I'm done
cry
with this conversation. No, I'm done. I'm done with this conversation now. Because Black people assume Black people speak a certain way. So at this point, I am done with the conversation.
That is not what I was inferring, ma'am, and I don't really know you to make any presumptions, which is why I prefer to ask questions.
We gotta move around.
She's done. Yeah, she's playing games. She wants to tell us now that she has the most sophisticated diction we've heard in the room today. Lady, you're not special.
But she
I'm like a
said
regular American.
Black people, not we or us, which is why I asked the question. But anywho,
She's not Black.
let me eat breakfast before I
I thought
start.
she was Black. She's not.
I think she is too.
She is not.
1,000%.
Because she's gone.
Well, she has separated herself. So if you separate yourself, then I don't know how we go forward. But let's get back to the conversation.
Yes, Voting Rights Act. Let me interject.
Yeah, go ahead. You gotta get in there, Michael. I know you want to get in.
Appreciate that, Devon. So I was gonna make a point to sort of what Dan was saying earlier, right? So every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So what they're doing, it essentially what conservatives are doing and what they're doing with the dismantling of the Voting Rights Act of Article 2, they're putting people on the playing field. Like if you've all heard the idiom, like let sleeping dogs lie. Essentially, like a lot of us behave because of Obama for 8 years. We behave like we're in a post-racial world, which is not the case. Like a lot of Black people have been behaving like we're in a post-racial world. We become dormant and docile on things that we used to be more engaged about. And I think that by doing this, by gutting the Voting Rights Act and what we're seeing, like the action that took place in Tennessee, what they're doing in Alabama, how they're moving to do this, I think what you're going to do is going to put a lot more people on the playing field. So there are kids out there now that are going to see this and be affected by it. And I think you'll get like leaders, you'll get more people that are going to be more involved because of what they're doing. So again, what Van was saying, I think that really what they've done is almost stupid. They should have just sort of left well enough alone because they're making people more engaged. That's all I want to add.
I've been a pro-Blacker for a while and it's the resilience. You know, I have my moments. Yeah, I do.
I have an
What is the title? What is the title about? Recap on the title.
One sec. Who had the announcement? I heard I have an announcement. Okay. So the person that asked the title, we are speaking about the Supreme Court ruling. We're talking about Voting Rights Act. We're talking about laws that are being repealed. I heard someone earlier speaking about this is going to go past Virginia. There are other southern states that are going to go this route. Who has that information? We need to inform each other. What have you heard? What do you know? What facts do we have? Because I also saw some maps and some drawings. I have to go pull it up. But there are other southern states that are going to go down this road. Anybody?
That's the fact.
Facts. That's the fact. Who said that? Do you have information for us?
Wait, BT, don't you support?
I'm eating.
support the conservative gutting of the Voting Rights Act? Because one of your claims was the Democrats never did anything for black people. So when they had power,
Okay, I'm more concerned about.
I'm almost done, BT. No, he said you were eating.
I'm more concerned. Well, you brought me up, so I had to stop.
I know, but I hadn't finished the question. You don't want to answer my question?
No, because what
All right,
you
cool,
asked is not true. No,
cool.
no.
All right.
I'm more concerned. Damn, maybe forget now.
How do you pay for your breakfast?
Yo, that's diabolical, yo. You know, you asking the man how he paid for his breakfast? This is what we're doing? Wow.
This is so weird. I don't even understand.
Well, I figured the immigrants took all the cash, so BT didn't have any cash.
Damn.
No, because I'm a concerned black
You on my dick so hard, bro. Unbelievable.
This is insane.
Let me read real quick. Just to keep the conversation, I'm trying to keep it on track. Tennessee immediately passed new heavily Okay, let me read. Okay, all right, hold on, brother. I'm trying to keep the conversation flowing. All right, Tennessee immediately passed new heavily gerrymandered maps cutting a Democratic black majority district. Mississippi expected to follow Tennessee's lead with active litigation on Supreme Court districts now in jeopardy. Alabama and South Carolina actively reviewing congressional maps to eliminate black majority districts, with South Carolina potentially pausing primary elections for redistricting. Louisiana, the epicenter of the ruling, where officials are using the decision to immediately revert to districts that dilute black voting power. And Florida, courts are reevaluating pending racial gerrymandering laws against new, stricter standards. So that's a lot. Florida, Louisiana, Alabama, South Carolina, Mississippi, and Tennessee. Now y'all can fight. Let's go.
Anthony, please, I have not had breakfast, and I don't really like you. So, anyway.
You don't have time for this boy.
Cash App a queen. Anyway, whatever, Anthony.
Where's the cash app at?
Anyway,
maybe somebody can use their EBT card.
would y'all, you know what? Oh my God. You entitled Negroes, why are we making fun of EBT? Y'all really get on my damn nerves. Y'all are seriously joking about welfare and food stamps right now. Are y'all okay?
We have to stop. Come on now. Come on. Why do we have to ruin everything? Why?
I'm not sure. I don't know if it's just people that were bullied in higher schools and now they're adults and y'all get to get it out, or
I
just.
don't want to even say that.
I don't understand.
What are you talking about?
Oh my God! We have to stop.
Let's
get back to the conversation.
Yeah, back to the conversation. I named about 5 or 6 states. 5 or 6 states that are
welfare, though. All jokes aside, we can't make jokes about welfare.
Why would we make jokes about welfare, Anthony? What is wrong with you?
We're not on welfare. We're saying that we're on,
How do you know
people
who's
on
not on welfare? I don't understand. Why is that funny to y'all? May I finish? Y'all are never beating the allegations. And this is why nobody takes conversation seriously. Because we can't even stay on topic enough. And y'all are so privileged and so pseudo-elitist that you literally think that it's okay to joke about people being on welfare? Are y'all serious? Do we need to go over the numbers for the demographics and the income levels for the median income and who's on welfare and single parents and so forth and so on, and grandparents and elders? What is going on right now? Who in this room is not 3 generations away from some sort of a handout? Very few of us. And who gives a fuck if we are or not? Y'all are just so petty sometimes. And this is coming from me, so y'all doing too damn much. Can y'all just cut it out? Or go take your childish ass out of this room.
About people being practiced. Is that okay? Is it okay to make jokes about people being practiced?
I guess it's only for certain people because
I don't give a shit if it's phony. I'm not doing one is making.
Exactly.
If I do it, you don't have to do it. Like, God damn, what is that? Y'all so goddamn performing at that time. You're some motherfuckers ain't got no friends. This happens your whole fucking life. What the fuck out?
Listen, now I'm yelling over each other. Now they're
Yes, fucking performative. It's Reform did this. It said this.
BT, please stop acting. Please listen to me. That's all happened to cry.
Have I ever disrespected? Hold on, give me 1 second. Have I ever disrespected anybody else?
No.
Have I? No, never. So we were having a conversation. It was really going somewhere, but then we decided to backbite each other for some reason, and we ended up here. So now we're crashing.
The holy now shit kills me. The holy now shit coming from me.
The point that I was making was that I have never disrespected anybody on the stage. And I have asked consistently, can we get back to the conversation? Then I tried to pivot and get away from other things.
You need to control your mother. She's the one stop causing all this.
I was still speaking.
How about somebody control you?
I was still speaking. So, we might as well just move on. Because literally, that's what we're
because of one
person. No, that's all we do. Anthony, don't put the thumbs down on me. Don't put the thumbs down on me, Anthony. You better put a heart on it, or you're going to be moved down. But don't play with me, because I didn't play with you. So let's get back to the conversation. Let's leave welfare. Let's leave cash app. Let's leave people this and that. Let's put that to the side. So either we're going to speak about the things that Divine mentions, or we just won't speak at all. I'm very good at it. I'm not saying that you guys have to be the same way, but we were talking about voting rights for Black people. It is very clear. Even within that conversation, we don't agree with each other, and that is also okay. But let's have respect for each other, because I have respect for everyone. And I believe that I show it every day. And with that, I'm going to mute my mic.
So I'll read it one more time. We have Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, Louisiana, and Florida. For many of these, it seems to me they're making a bad situation. I'll lean on my politicals who have the data about these states. We know that, sure, are they all red? They red as hell already. I don't know how more dire, if I'm saying it correctly, things can become for the Black people that are already suffering in these states. I'm going on mute.
I was just curious because you have the title relating to going back to slavery, doing all the jobs. So,
They scared, bro.
what would we do if we were enslaved? If the robots
Didn't you read off the states, Tennessee, Alabama, and South Carolina, and what was the other?
I'll read them again. Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, Louisiana, and Florida.
Okay, I've been to every one of those states. And the Black people in those states, especially South Carolina, is starting to look good. Alabama is looking like Birmingham, and they're looking good. Those states look really good. Maybe Mississippi, but Mississippi's growing. Mississippi has a few new car dealer manufacturers that are coming in there. They've got some big stuff coming with Mississippi, but Alabama looks like really good. They got a lot of stuff going on.
Jamal. We're not talking about how it looks. We're talking about. I'm talking about listening. Black people about political power. We're talking about political power. Not how people are doing good in these places.
Yeah, I just looked it up. Black poverty in South Carolina. You said black people were doing good. It's almost 30%. Black poverty in South Carolina is almost. That means the poverty line, which I believe is what's the poverty line? 14,000 on the poverty line. USA. The poverty line is 33,000 for a family of 4. But Jamal says they're doing well. So 30% of families, roughly 30%. I'll be conservative. 25%. 1 in 4 families, black families in South Carolina.
Well,
bring in
75%.
I know them 75%.
Man, land is playing, so
Yeah. Van started speaking and told him got to stop speaking.
Told him it's done.
I was speaking. Compare that to California, which is a blue state. Blacks are doing well in California. Compare South Carolina to California. Which would you choose? You'd be surprised. South Carolina, 75% of them are living better.
Mute the fuck up at this point, because it does not make any sense.
You don't understand.
And I'm sitting in the audience trying to figure this shit out, and none of this shit makes sense to none of y'all. Like, what are y'all doing? Mute up.
Do they not understand how poverty numbers work? Like, if you get into the double digits at anything, that's not good. From 30%, y'all can't gross over 30% just because you're saying 30%. So let's assume it's probably 3 million black people in the state of South Carolina. I don't know. I know it's not a heavily populated state, but let's assume it's a 3 million state of 3. That would mean 300,000 black people are living under the poverty line. That's not good. I don't know how y'all see how this works, but if you see the poverty numbers start creeping up over 7-8%, that in itself isn't good. Like, this is
Okay. Well, no, I'm trying to explain to combat that. Dumb. But the nigga go to read this shit, and you co-sign, everyone co-sign as if black folks ain't doing good in South Carolina, which is not true. Because
Ain't not
nobody's
doing
doing good in South Carolina. What the fuck is wrong with you? I'm not fucking done. What is going on?
we're doing better in South Carolina than they are in California.
But 75% of the numbers is out there. It's black folks with money in South Carolina.
All that indicates is that 75%, all that indicates is that 75% is above the poverty line. We would have to go and crush the numbers of the 75. And nobody's saying that it ain't there to California. Nobody's saying that it ain't to California.
It's 13% in California. Like, be quiet. I'm black. I'm on a 22 on my way to my business. Be quiet.
It's not 13% California.
Yes, look it up.
The poverty line is 60% in California. 60%. Can we get somebody to do the numbers?
You do them. You look it up. Ain't no God 50%, you stupid ass.
Okay, guys, just because somebody is above median income, or does anyone even know what the state federal poverty guidelines
Exactly.
So just because, and that's usually for a family of 4. So let's say, for example, I can look up what the federal rate is, or what anyone else can. It's actually really low.
Let's go head to head. South Carolina.
You need to look at other.
Why is totem pole being allowed to drive this conversation? Why?
I am not sure, but can we move on? I see we have new speakers on the stage. But that is just the point that I wanted to
him by moving him down so that he doesn't
pause. No hands at all. But let me just get out what I was going to say. When we look at what I'd encourage everybody to look at the poverty levels are established for your state, which actually dictates, although people are making fun of EBT as if it's some sort of a joke, I guess it's a badge of honor for someone to say that you're on EBT and then to think that it's amusing, as if it's not something that could actually be a reality for millions of people. So you need to look at what those numbers are for your state, and then know what the median income is for your state, and then let me know what those numbers are for the Black demographics in your state. Again, that's typically for a family of 4. That is not with taxes. For those of you that are in states that have state income taxes.
Things like, credit lending, right? Things like financial institutions, access to internet, things like that, right? That's soft infrastructure. Then you got the hard infrastructure. Well, how are the road networks in South Carolina versus the roads that the folks in California are getting? How about hospitals, right? Hospitals, healthcare. That's another part of infrastructure. I'm sure the folks in Los Angeles, Black folks, are getting way better healthcare than maybe some of the folks in South Carolina, right? So I think when we talk about the different, when comparing, we got to compare all sides of the angles, like Reform said. But I'm going to let you cook, BT. You got it, bro.
Hold on. One sec. Because we made a left turn, right? And all of this is a result of what to do in these states when it comes to when it comes to representation, right? You guys jumped from what I brought to the table with what these additional 5, I believe 6 states.
With all due respect, we've been litigating that since about 7 o'clock p.m. Central last night. So
no, but we were talking about one state. I brought it up.
Listen to what I'm saying. The room started more than 12 hours ago, so those topics may have already been thoroughly discussed, but we can bring them up again. That's the point that I was thinking.
We weren't here.
Well, I can make sure you're not here now. How about that?
I was here yesterday. I came back. I hear what you're saying. All I'm saying is, it's going to be exponential with other states following Virginia, and now we're talking about people are doing good. I'm going.
What does Virginia have? I don't know what you brought Virginia. I don't know what Virginia has to do with it.
What was this? Not Virginia. I'm talking about the Supreme Court ruling.
I was listening to jazz music.
That was nice.
It's like elevator jazz music.
It's Eric Miller and Zoot Sims. It's not.
That is definitely not elevator. That is definitely not elevator music. That's so disrespectful.
Yeah, that's not elevator.
Absolutely, that's beautiful, baby.
Yeah, that's not elevator music.
Well, y'all clearly don't get in the elevators I get in, because that's elevator music.
Nigga, elevators.
The way that y'all randomly praise the most basic shit, it really needs to be studied. But anywho, does anybody have any comments to what Divine said? Don't fall for the bait.
Poverty.
Stop being anti-Black, y'all. Y'all being anti-Black now. It's Black music.
They want to talk about the poverty line. So go ahead. We can talk about the poverty line and not talk about voting right being taken away.
What they won't do, they won't put in South Carolina blacks up against the motherfucking California blacks. California blacks are outperforming South Carolina. What's going on here?
What are you talking about? It's a fact. Like, Jamal, you just stupid. Like they said, you just put you in the goo. Could you just derail the conversation?
Go to Altadena, Jamal. Go to Altadena. They perform those folks in Charlotte.
The man's so jealous of California. It's ridiculous.
I'll put him in a group. No other mob. Please don't bring him up. He can learn from the audience. God bless.
Hey, just wanted to say good morning. This one's Stefani. Hope everybody's doing well.
Good morning, Lance.
Shut up, nigga.
somebody make the correlation. Somebody can make the correlation between the poverty line and taxation. Because in my opinion, they go hand in hand. If you don't have the representation that's needed, then the poverty line will be increased. You don't have representation, poverty line will increase. More people will suffer. I'm going on.
Devon, when you say poverty will increase, are you saying that there will be an increase to the amount of citizens that are living under the poverty line?
Because if you don't have someone fighting for you, right? If you're unable to vote for someone that has your best interest at heart, then it's a wrap.
So let me ask you a question. What people are being restricted from being allowed to vote for the people that have their best interests at heart?
Where the whole districts are. They want to get rid of whole districts. They want to get rid of districts that are predominantly black. So if you have a district that's predominantly black and you have someone that's representing them, and
who wants to get rid of districts that are predominantly black?
I just read the states, bro. They want to redistrict Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, Louisiana, and Florida.
Okay, but that's not getting rid of districts on the basis of their race. That's getting rid of districts.
It's no argument we can make for this. This shit is racist. It's gerrymandering. We're seeing it.
No. All the other stuff, we
gotta call it bigger thing.
You want to call it thing they're doing.
It's in Louisiana a few months.
Hold on. You do understand that everywhere. You do understand that majority white communities are also getting split up as well, right?
Show me that.
Their districts are getting split. Well, that's what happens in both Democrat and Republican states. They split Republican. They split up majority white votings at the same time.
That's someone wants to go on.
Yeah, but I think what people are missing is that although what you're saying.
One second. He's saying, first off, it's illegal, okay, to break up districts for the purpose of racial, for the intentions of breaking up districts because of the race, right? That's illegal. But if it's a political interest involved, and they're stripping up districts on the interest of political outcomes, there's nothing illegal about that. Now, it's gerrymandering, and it sucks, but to make the argument that it's racist because it's restricting people from being able to vote for the people that best represent their interests, I haven't seen any support for that. I haven't seen
literally make
verifiable support.
Less valuable. Literally.
No, what it does is it splits up a block. It splits up a voting and makes it less potent to be able to drive that political block's political interest. But it doesn't. Black people, while they vote in a block, they are not monolithic. They vote both Republican and Democratic. They just, by and large, overwhelmingly vote Democratic. But that's a voting consideration. That is a political consideration. It's not a racist consideration, because if it was a racist consideration, then you would have to make the argument that they're doing this to only black communities and no other communities.
Yeah, but what black person is voting? But what black person is voting MAGA? I think that's the thing that people.
But that's a different conversation altogether. We're not having that.
But hold on, TC. It actually is not. They kind of run synonymous to each other. The current Republican Party is not Republican. It's not conservative. It's MAGA. We don't know what MAGA is. So although you might be right, you might be saying
sorry, you're just in the matrix. So you want to try again? You want to repeat what you said?
I think he was just chiming in on what my good friend from New York, Divine, was saying. But I'm sorry, Divine, you can't prove that the Supreme Court or legislatures otherwise are not allowing Black people to vote for the people that represent their interests. Black people can vote for whoever they want to. The way the districts are split up compromises the ability for Black people to vote as a block and get the Democratic candidate that they want to, because it's a political
causing underrepresentation.
The representation where?
In the districts. I mean, TC,
Wait.
you hold on. Let me finish. Because commentator after commentator, political advocate after political advocate, leaders, political analysts, everyone is saying what I'm saying, and you're not. And that's okay. And we're not going to see eye to eye. You're going to feel what I'm going to feel, and I'm going to feel how I'm going to feel based on the facts that have been presented. You can go ahead. You can ask all the questions you want to try to do a gotcha moment, but I'm not playing this game today. I'm going
all right. So you're going to have to excuse. There's no game. I mean, this is just back and forth. You're going to have to excuse me because I'm driving. I'll get the information when I can. There is a district that was redrawn that basically ran a line down a majority Black community. The Democratic candidate that was, quote, representing the interests of Black people, if we're talking about representation, was a white man. The way the lines are redrawn, that representative, a Black woman. So if you need a name of the Congresswoman, I can get you that. Of the representative, I can get you that. But I think describing as if to say that it's going to reduce representation, that's on the basis of the voters themselves. If they're not voting for candidates or they're not nominating candidates to represent them that are Black, then they need to improve their voting numbers. I don't understand why Black people need to have Black people only. I think that's a logical fallacy to suggest that only Black people can represent Black people's interests, and that representation in Congress
isn't being made.
One literally said that. No.
What wasn't? Maybe I'm having amnesia, but you just say it affects representation.
But nobody said that all Blacks are necessarily looking for.
I'm asking Devon. He's the one that said it. He said
it. Not playing this game with you, bro. Representation. That's the thing. At age, I'm not doing this with you today, bro.
Well, I think we can both agree that only Black people don't need to represent the interests of Black people. So I just don't understand how this limits their representation.
So we're saying let me get to it. So to help you out, what we're saying is that the people who are being elected don't represent the best interests of the Black constituency.
Prove it.
But no, I see. The good thing about it is, I'm
fix your Wi-Fi, Rambo. Fix your signal, bro.
No, I mean, you're just gonna make a comment and support it.
Fix your signal, bro. Fix your signal.
My signal is fine. Are you talking to Rambo? I'm talking right now.
No, I'm talking to Rambo. Your signal, bro.
TC is speaking right now. My signal is fine. So if you're going to say that the people that are elected don't represent the interests of Black people, you have to prove that.
Bro, give him a moment to fix his signal. Hold on a second. Rambo, come back. Fix your Wi-Fi so we can hear you.
Okay, how about now? Is it still not starting?
You're good.
Okay, so what I'm saying to you, TC, for you to get on this stage and make this fantasy that this recent SCOTUS ruling is not going to have a negative impact on in particular the Black population, it's just like foolishness, man. Like,
but I didn't say it's not going to have an impact on the Black population.
But then you're dumbing it down to make it seem now Black people only trust only Black candidates. Like, that's what you stated, bro. And that's just not the fact.
That's what I heard Devon say. If he's claiming he didn't say that, then we can
even if Devon didn't say that, I'm just saying you still have the position that you, regardless of if anybody says anything, you will make this a talking point. You use the first opportunity to push an agenda, to push a talking point, which is put out by those that don't even like you, that don't want to see you.
This is not fruitful. You're talking about whether people like me or not. That's not the conversation.
No, I'm talking about people with your ideology. Like, do I really have to be that?
Okay, good. So let's not talk about personal. Let's not talk about personal like.
personal proclivities. Think like you. People.
I'm not interested in discussing proclivities, bro. It doesn't advance the conversation.
I'm gonna follow Divine's like his protocol, and I'm just do the zero tolerance. So I'm going on mute.
Well, all I'm asking you is just support some of the claims that you're making. That black people are not able to.
I will say, TC, I disagree when you said that black folks don't need black representation in order for them to. I'm still in the Matrix. Hello?
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
Okay. I disagree with TC.
Up with everybody that's speaking.
I disagree with
voices. Can you just tell me who you just
black representation in order for them to vote? That's false, because if that be the then why do we have Robert F. Kennedy come before committee sitting there talking about that it's not really necessary for there to be any type of funding when it comes to the CDC, when it comes to the black mortality rate? That is a trope, that is a MAGA talking point. So when you say that we don't need the type of representation when it comes to recruiting black voters, and when we know that the only representation that black folks, especially black women, have when it comes to mortality rate, when it comes to childbirth, the only ones who stay on that side of on the right side of history is Democrats. Republicans are not. That's very much so true. Then why is Robert F. Kennedy gutting funding for that type of research? That's MAGA. That's not the left. That's the right. And if you think the right is going to be in support of trying to support that type,
you're going to take off.
I'm taking up, but I will allow you to answer. What I'm saying is, if you're saying that right representation is going to come from the right, from black representation, or whether it is white representation for black people, that's going to stand in the gap. Please explain and help me understand, as a voter who may be disenfranchised. Well, I consider disenfranchised if I don't feel like my self-interests are being represented, but by that particular representative, if they're Republican, help me understand.
All right, are you done? Are you done? I don't want to.
He did.
I don't want to interrupt.
So yeah, so he put himself on mute. So yes, he's done. Okay.
So he tried to create a scenario and would be forced to defend Robert F. Kennedy's comments, for which I don't even have context on. I'm not privy to anything that he's describing right now about us cutting fund black women health care. I'm not familiar. Maybe you guys have the clip. Y'all want to pull it up? You can. But to suggest that only Democrats have interest in protecting black women's reproductive health could not be further from the truth. The entire modern U.S. movement protects the lives of unborn black children and their mothers, and protecting their health care. Know that there have been funding that's been stimulated by pro-life movements that have helped to improve pre-care, postpartum care, accountability when it comes to child rearing, and protecting innocent and vulnerable women and children that are interested in protecting the reproductive health care of black women. It's just patently false on his face.
I think you're purposely trying to be obtuse, though, TC.
No, I'm purposely not playing into this narrative that only Democrats can protect.
Sorry, but can you please let him finish? And if you want to interrupt afterwards, please.
Yeah.
Don't please.
So you keep words like only and like all and things like that. Well, no one's saying these things. Like, no these words, right? You're trying to throw them in there on purpose to act as if we said or ended that Republicans have zero interest in doing this. Like, no, it's not. We're not saying they have zero interest.
Maybe you didn't hear what the previous speaker said.
I did.
He can clarify for me. He literally said what you said. He didn't say.
Well, he brought up a clip that you said you're not privy to. So I can really continue. Yeah. So really quickly, I'll summarize and continue what I was saying. So Robert F. Kennedy was grilled by a senator talking about black female maternal health rates, or female maternal mortality rates, and why he stripped funding for research for that specific issue. And he said that we are working on all female mortality rates, right? And she kept him and said, well, there is a
that there's a more adverse reaction to Black specifically highest rates of female mortality in it. So we have to isolate this situation and find a solve for it. And he said that it's DEI. He essentially this is DEI, and we don't want to worry about DEI. We want to focus on the whole thing. But he said we're making progress, but we're not making progress because Black female mortality rate continues to climb in this country. And right, we're talking about, we said, okay, well, Republicans, like what you said was Republicans are putting in programs and things like that. Correct, they are putting in programs. But if you isolate the Republican-led states versus Democrat-led states, and you look at the mortality rate for Black women when it comes to childbirth, Republican states are drastically higher, right? So when we talk about representation, about who wants to solve these problems, you don't need to say one person's only doing this or not doing this at all. All you have to do is look, and you can go from there. So no one has ever said that you only need Black people to represent Black people in America. But if you look at statistics, you look at numbers, you look at how analysis is done in America, right? And you look at Republican-led cities, and how Black people's outcomes are worse off in those areas, right, than the Democrat-led cities, they want Democratic-led leadership. So yes, it behooves them to be able to have Democratic-led people in their areas who they had. So gerrymandering the district to cut it out to where they cannot have that, knowing that Republicans' worst outcomes to Black women and the mortality rates or Black people in general, right? That's the issue that we're talking about. So you don't have to like rope it into all one big summary and say only or all or none. We don't need absolutes. We look at the results of these specific groups of people and how Democrats won those individual groups and how Republicans won individual groups, and that's what we're talking about.
So you're never going to get a debate out of me for creating space for nuance and complexity in the conversation. Okay, of course there's always nuance, but I'm not the one that push back against nuance and complexity in the conversation. It was the previous speaker, and I have to apologize. I am driving, going to a meeting in the city in New York, so I'm not looking at my phone. But if my memory serves correctly, he says, no, TC, I have to push back against you. The only people that are protecting reproductive health of Black women in this country is, and I gave him examples as to why that wasn't true. Now, as to your characterization of what RFK said in a Senate hearing, again, I did not hear him say what you're claiming he said. I don't have any reason to not believe you, but I certainly won't attempt to opine on that because I don't have the context, I don't have the information.
Yes, well, TC, I was one that said.
If I could finish, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
What I will say is this, though. If your claim is, to the gentleman I was just speaking to, if your claim is that Black women are disproportionately represented in high mortality rates, childbirth mortality rates, then, again, I'm not going to speak for RFK, but the idea would be that if they're disproportionately represented, any directives towards funding any and all childbearing mortality rates for women would disproportionately benefit Black women.
No, incorrect.
And so under that context, I would agree with RFK that if we are, allow me to finish, and I'm gonna land here because I don't think we need to go much further on this. Going back to the larger conversation we were having about representation in the Black community, it is completely and wholly irreverent is not the word, just disrespectful to Black people to suggest that the Democratic Party has to defend their interests to give them what they need. That only Democrats in America can deliver for Black people what they need. To suggest that Black people have no other options or alternatives to representing their interests outside of the Democratic Party is borderline captivity.
Nobody captivity. Nobody's
no. That is what's being said on this stage, and furthermore, I don't have to keep rehashing the same thing I've said over and over and over again. Black people can choose who they want to vote their interests. If they believe that Democrats, excuse me. If they believe that only Democrats can vote their interests,
races.
Stop repeating yourself. You want to type.
Okay, why am I being lectured when I interrupt, but when everybody else
you keep interrupting and you keep repeating the same exact thing as well.
Interrupting and I'm not repeating. If you just go,
You're repeating it again. You're repeating it again. You're repeating it again.
Do you want the mic?
Yes, I do.
Do you want the mic? Then wait until I'm done.
Well, I don't
wait until I'm done.
You repeat yourself 3 times.
No, I didn't repeat myself 3 times. You're not listening. If what you're hearing is repetition, that means your comprehension skills are lacking. Because I'm saying a myriad of different things all at the same time. Black people don't need Democrats to report.
Yeah, same thing again. Same thing again. It's a interpretation.
I don't think you guys are interested in having a fair conversation because I sure when I interrupt, but nobody lectures him when he interrupts. Where's Marlene? Where's any of these people that protect speech? I'll go back on mute.
Because TC, I think you lose the argument when you said black folks don't need democratic representation, or black folks don't only need democratic representation. When the gerrymandering is taking place and they're redrawing these maps and they're purposely exiling democratic representation to say that the only representation all people need, black, white, and many alike, is Republican representation. I think that is what everybody is saying that they don't agree with. Yes, gerrymandering is bad on both sides of the aisle. No one is disagreeing with that. But I was the one who did state that from my vantage point, the Democrats are the only ones who are protecting reproductive rights for women, of all women, primarily black women. I don't show anybody on the left side who's pretty much for making sure that the mortality rate in the South, where a lot of black people live, is equally protected as it is in the North, West, or wherever there are other black people are located. I don't hear anybody from the right side saying, well, what can we do about the black people, about the black women who are disproportionately targeted when it comes to the mortality rate? I don't hear that. And if those conversations are being had, please excuse me for my ignorance. But you got to admit, if you're saying that black folks don't need democratic representation and they'll be good, they'll be fine with any type of representation, however the maps are drawn, I don't see how that's fair.
It's like trying to study breast cancer and having like 5 female and 5 male patients to study breast cancer, right? Like it just makes 0 sense because disproportionately we know that women are the ones who are the largest subset of individuals who get breast cancer. So like, yes, we understand men also get breast cancer, but we shouldn't focus solely on men, right? We shouldn't take we shouldn't split the equation 50-50 men versus women when it comes to studying breast cancer because it disproportionately affects women. So if we're going to study female mortality rate, right, and disproportionately the largest subset of people who are dying from childbirth, women, why would you cut funding to studying black women's female mortality rates? It makes no sense. It's like saying you want to do the all-life matter situation. Like that's what like people are trying to get you to understand is that you're not using like statistical analysis. You're using everyone needs to be covered. Everyone needs to have a fair whatever it possibly is. And we know that isn't an issue. That's like saying you want to worry about population of funding schools, and you say we should give every school in America $5,000. That's not going to solve the problem. We know that the people on the bottom have to disproportionately have a worse education system. More money should go to that system than overall the top of the people. But people don't get proportions, and so that's why it's like. That's a conversation that's always going to fall on deaf ears, right? Like you can literally look at Democrat-led cities and states versus Republican-led cities and states, and look at the mortality rate for every race. There's not overall the Democrats are.
You're saying the same thing. You're saying the same thing over and over and over again now.
Yeah. So
can you point to this claim that
how you can?
You're saying you're making a claim that RFK said he's cutting funding to address mortality rates. Okay, can you cite that source? No. That's not what you said. You said in an interaction with a congresswoman or a senator, he said he was cutting funding for female mortality rates in childbirth. So tell me can you point me to a source?
Yeah, all you have to. I know you're driving, so you can't even read it, right? Do you want me to read it to you? Is that what you want me to do?
Yeah, that's fine. Read it to me.
Okay, all right. Let's ask real quick. The conversation on Capitol Hill. Notice you have an understanding of it. So I'm just gonna type into Gemini. What funding did RFK cut for Black female mortality rate studies?
Seems like he got all the information for all of his points, but every time somebody mentions something else, he just has no. Like, what kind of research?
It's okay. It's okay.
Both sides of the thing is crazy.
It's okay.
First off, that's not true. Secondly,
it's okay.
What he's searching is not what I asked for. Sorry, what you're searching is not what I asked for.
What are you talking about?
I asked for the specific reference that you made that when RFK was having a conversation with a congresswoman or a senator, that he said he would be cutting funding for for female mortality rates in childbirth. That's what I'm asking for. Where is that clip or that reference?
So it's for one. The program was called Healthy Start. Healthy Start program is specifically designed to reduce infant and mortality rate in high-risk, disproportionately Black communities. The NHS grant cancellation, or he paused another one named the Black Girl Health Act, right? Or the Black Girl, whatever, I'm saying wrong. He got the health and nutrition pivot as well too, because these things are all DEI related, is what he said. This is what he said. So I'm saying that I gave you one.
That's not what I asked.
I gave you on the program. Well, here's the program is called.
Hold on, slow down, because you're doing too many things right now. First, what you provided is not what I asked for. That's number one. Number two,
TC, that's not fair.
If you're saying
TC,
you're making
that's what we're talking about. That's fair, TC.
Hold on one second, guys.
This framework,
If what you're saying is that RFK cut funding because he considered it DEI, that is materially different.
No, that's not.
Let me calm down.
TC, come on now.
Materially different.
TC.
He's saying I'm cutting funding for mortality rates for women in childbearing.
No, Black women, TC. Black women, TC. Black women.
Yes, sir.
Right.
All right, you guys are done. That is materially different than what you
guys are saying. We've been saying Black women the whole time.
If there's a program that's set up in the government that is a DEI program that has been decidedly dismantled by the Trump administration because it was inherently unfair, that is materially different than saying RFK is unfair for Black women and mortality rates.
Stop. Can you let the class know real quick? How is it unfair to research and study Black female mortality rates, considering that they are the highest rate of Black female mortality?
That's not the claim that I made. I said if RFK is saying that he cut a DEI program, that is materially different.
So
you're saying that RFK cut studies specifically because it was for Black women and their mortality.
This is okay. That's what it is. He cut this program and study because he called it DEI. So explain to me how is it DEI to study the largest subset of people who have the highest female mortality rates? How is that DEI?
He's on the phone now.
He's not. He's not the phone call.
Yeah, he's on the phone.
He answered the phone call. He didn't answer it.
Oh, okay.
He has no answer. And he's gonna come back and try to talk past the conversation again, like he always does.
It's just crazy. But then one wants to say that the right or MAGA has the best interest for mortality rate, primarily when it comes to Black women. They have that representation, so there's no need to fret. There's no need to fear. The Republican Party, MAGA, is here because Democratic representation is not necessarily needed in order to have a thriving economy. Get the fuck out of here with that. That's when you lose the plot with me. Because regardless of whether Black people vote overwhelmingly Democratic or not, you still have to give that voter that opportunity to express themselves at the ballot box. They we can't all be so uptight in our standards and feel as though, oh, well, I've got my degrees, I got my certification. Hell, you ain't got to have a high school diploma to know that if you want to be able to vote, that's free choice. I'm appalled.
You know, and I like what Don was saying about the statistical relevance of it all, because if you don't focus on a specific target, it's very hard for you to understand the variables, you know, that are swirling around. So it only makes sense that that regression would be done.
Voting on either side now means nothing. Both sides are bought and paid for by you know who, so no, it really doesn't matter. I can't say what I want to say, but there needs to be a complete overhaul of the electoral system and of the people who are running for it, and of people who are able to be lobbyists of said groups, you know? You know exactly, if you have any intelligence, you know exactly who I'm talking about and what I am saying. So
where does both sidism get us at this point?
You said what?
Where does both sidism get us at this point?
Nowhere, brother. The same exact point. Literally nowhere.
Okay, but can't
doesn't matter.
But both sides are believing that both sides are corrupt. So with what you're saying, where does that get us?
Nowhere.
Okay, but why? Okay, King, respectfully, why would you propose nothing and nowhere? If there's no solution to what you, in regards to what the proposal make, that doesn't need a proposal, so therefore you would have to have an alternative.
No. I just. The only answer is to overhaul the system.
But how do you overhaul the system without voting? What is your proposal? If you're saying don't vote, what is the alternative to change government, which is done by voting?
You think the change the government is done by voting?
Well, then again, educate us all as to what the alternative is. I've been asking this times.
Violence.
Oh, that makes sense. Do you overhaul the system by putting intelligent young black lawyers in place? And so you guys don't have a lot.
Wait. Every time we try to do that, they kill us.
Very smart and intelligent.
Gentlemen,
excuse me. Black lawyers in place. I know everybody wants to say excuse me when they hear my voice.
Just a moment.
When you hear my voice, you want to say just a moment.
I said just a moment. Please don't overtalk each other one at a time. Black Total, if you would like to make a submission, then King respond. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it. What I'm saying is, when you put young, intelligent black lawyers in place, we take over stuff. But when all of our youth are complacent, the young people in their 30s are playing around and playing games and focused on the wrong thing and not focused in politics, have to start leaning on Generation Alpha to do things that Gen Z should be doing. We need Gen Z active. We need Gen Z running for legislative areas and running for government positions. But because you're not doing that, you're sitting on the sidelines in Clubhouse crying about why things are the way they are. Get out there and get active. Our land.
All right. In response to what you're saying, first of all, I'm never on Clubhouse. I care less. I'm rich. I have maids. Secondly, since you said about lawyers, right? You know about Tennessee, the black brother in Tennessee, in which they just carved up the most democratic black place in Tennessee, so that they split apart his district and made everybody, like, I forgot, I don't literally know how it works. But
Justin Pearson from Memphis, Tennessee is what you're talking about.
Yes, exactly.
So what the hell are you complaining about?
I'm not complaining about anything. I can care less.
Complaining about anything.
Don't interrupt me, brother. Did I interrupt you?
Please don't interrupt, okay?
I can care less about anything that you're talking about. I am literally going to move out of the United States anyway. I genuinely
could care less. But I'm telling you that people like me who went to jail for literally fighting the police on behalf of us and the rest of us could care less. Nobody, y'all don't care for real. I don't care about nothing you're talking about. Like you say it's performative. Everything that you do and talk about is performative. Like when some of us show up for the rest of us and go to jail for all of us, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Everything that you're going to become lawyers, it doesn't matter. Because everybody's, you know what I'm going to start saying? Everybody is bought and paid for by AIPAC. Nothing matters. Until violence happens and we overhaul the system, nobody cares. And you talk about the lawyers and all of that. They shot every one of us in the face.
Brother, go get your dreads washed and get a chicken and get the hell out of the United States.
No. I don't wash my own hair. People do that for me. Sorry.
What the hell are we listening to?
Yeah, I don't know. Where are we at?
Like, yo, man.
What's going on, man?
We can't get no quality conversations. Like, this shit is just. And you know what?
Imagine that the person he starts attacking my hair when I start making relevant conversations.
I mean, you interrupted me to begin with. I know. Go ahead.
I didn't interrupt you. I thought whoever was speaking stopped speaking.
No, I stopped speaking because he interrupted me. But go ahead.
Okay, right. So I didn't interrupt you. But the point is this, man. I sometimes I just want to hear some great conversations. And today, for some reason, it just seems like, I don't know, it's just everybody's, well, not everybody, I won't say everybody, but you just have some key individuals that just fuck up the quality, the communication. It's annoying. So, I'm going back on you.
Yeah, I mean, some people are threatened by actual intelligence, you know. But some people talk.
Well, you just said something about your dreads, and you don't. I'm sorry.
I don't wash my own hair. I don't.
But the point is, he was just saying wash them. But you had to emphasize that you.
Wait. So he can attack me saying that my hair is dirty, and I say I don't wash my own. That's the problem for you.
The emphasis. You should have responded to that versus letting everybody you don't do it yourself to a.
I don't. Well, I don't.
All right. Well, you know what?
That bothers you? That bothers you? I don't wash my own hair?
No, that doesn't bother me. The quality of conversation bothers me.
I could care less about anything. Yo, you think that? Wait, hold on. So you think that you overemphasize that the words that you saying that I care about what you say? It doesn't matter. Like I said, I don't wash my own hair. People do that for me. What is wrong with y'all? This is why I don't be on Clubhouse. Y'all, it's a bunch of simpletons that overhype, that hyperbole their vernacular. It makes me sick. All of you make me sick.
Don't leave us here by ourselves. We need you. We need your insight so much. We need you. Why don't you just mute up and let the other brothers who really care about the country keep talking? Because the reality of it is,
when's the last time you went to jail for black people?
Hey, brother, you can just Google me. My shit is filed and documented.
What's your name?
As far as I'm concerned,
what's your name?
I'm Jamal Hunter.
Is this for real?
With an A in the middle.
People, we don't
Jamal
know
Hunter.
what's going on.
Right. So you can Google me. My shit is documented and filed.
Okay. Go to jail to prove
but the reality of it is, here's the reality of it. We need young people to get involved. We need young people to get off the sideline. We need our young, intelligent people to be in tech. We need them also in policing. We also need them in military. We also need them in security. And we definitely need them in government. Because this is ours for the taking. These white building right in front of your face. And what we need to be able to do is step up and take over. We don't have enough children. We don't have enough real operable families. So we got to start focusing on things and get the work done. You're not only going to get this if you can do it. I'll land there.
I can agree with that. Those points I can agree with. But like I said, America is new Babylon. It's cooked, brother. The only thing we can do is leave. I'm trying. There's no way. Every single time that we have anything of remote intelligence, like the Black Panther Party,
like they kill all of us. Dr. Martin Luther King, they kill us, bro. If you speak, bro, they kill the white people, Charlie.
Yeah, what's this doom and gloom talk today, man? What's going on here?
Bro, it's not doom and gloom. It's realism.
Come on, brother. You said we cook.
You want false. You want false
niggas to say we cooked.
You need to get rich and leave. You need to get rich and leave.
Just say you're cooked. Just say you're cooked and depleted.
Y'all are, hey, brother. I travel the world. I can like.
Just say you're cooked. I know. And you know what that's called? That's called. You got okaphobia. You fear home. You fear where you're from.
Wait, what is that called? That's called okaphobia.
Yeah, it's called okaphobia. You're an okaphobe.
That's fire. I never even heard.
Yeah, it's the person that fears home, right? Fears their house. Fears their nation. They rather uplift foreign cultures. That's what you are.
No, I don't uplift foreign culture. I can care less about it. No, that's not. Bro. No. I mean, I mess with us more than I mess with anybody on the planet. But I just realized that you're right. Let me not.
Okay, by the way, the phrase is "I couldn't care less." Just so you know, I'm not being an asshole. I'm just telling you something, just so it doesn't sound.
My bad. I'm here, bro. So speaking English, I can care less.
Let's not.
It's mathematical that I care about. English, I can care less.
Hold on. Okay, so that's one. You obviously do care, or so you wouldn't be up on Clubhouse pining, okay? So it's okay to care. That's two. Now, three, what you're saying, proposing that every black person leave America, assuming just the United States, or not North America altogether, you know that that's not going to happen. So why don't you focus on adding something positive that's actionable and realistic than all the negativity? Because yes, you have a point. I'm not saying that people. It's not. We all know that that anytime that black people have ever tried progressing, they come up and hold on. I'm not finished speaking.
Eggs, bacon, and
Okay, please don't interrupt.
You read exactly.
Please show yourself that you can actually
carry yourself dignity.
Okay, and do not interrupt. Kindly.
I wasn't talking to you.
You're talking, period, while I'm speaking.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. My bad, bro.
Well, then why are you on stage? If you don't want to pay attention, I can put you into the audience and you can just kindly listen, or you may leave.
I was talking to my maid, bro. Chill out.
Put yourself on mute, then. Thank you. Thank you. Now, what we come up with is just really negative statements that don't move the needle. It's not moving the needle. It doesn't help anyone. We can't all leave North America and go, I'm not sure exactly where we would all go, much as in the millions and millions. I guess Africa, that's a whole other topic and a whole other issue. So besides that, why don't we focus on what we can do? Positive and actionable things that we can talk about instead of just gloom and doom and negativity. It doesn't do anything for anyone.
Okay, I have a question.
We've got a lot of intelligent young people.
Black Totem Vote, just 1 second. Sorry, did you have a question for me or to the audience in general?
No, to you. So where has voting gotten us to this point? Voting Democrat, it doesn't matter. I could care less what's specific.
But you can.
You know exactly what I mean. Like I said, English. I failed English. I succeeded in science and mathematics. I could care less.
You can learn. You have the opportunity to learn.
I don't care. I could care less to learn. I don't care. Don't interrupt me. Respond to what I'm saying instead of attacking.
I am responding to exactly what you're saying. I am responding to exactly what you're saying. Okay?
You're playing semantics. It's disgusting.
I'm not about to get into a back and forth with you. You're just not going to absorb it. Because as you said, your education is poor. So you don't care. You couldn't care less.
That's not what I said.
No, you said you couldn't care less.
No, I said English I could care less about. Okay, mathematics and science is the only thing I care about.
Okay, cool.
I didn't work for Tesla caring about English.
Cool.
And writing words.
Cool.
I build things.
Look, brother.
Cool.
Look, young brother, and we're happy that you do build things.
but you do build a certain amount of arrogance in your tone.
Indubitably, I concur.
But hold on, wait a minute, brother. I'm gonna land. And what I'm saying to you is, if you're gonna talk about these political issues, you're gonna come on here and be very arrogant, and you spew how much you're paid, how intelligent you are, how you all this stuff. You've been very, very arrogant, and we've all picked up on it. But here's the thing, and you're doing the community a disjustice by not using the mathematics and science, which you excelled in, and creating jobs for your community. Instead of doing that, you went to work for a white man. You went to work for a white man. You're not creating anything. You're a liar. And you haven't created any jobs. You haven't created any work. You haven't created any factory. You haven't created a product. The only thing you've done is service for a white man. That's what you've done. You've done service. You've taken your education.
Where are you from?
Hold on, excuse me.
You're from where?
Excuse me. And just because you can get a Nigerian to wipe down counters doesn't mean you're doing anything for the community.
I know, brother. What
You are an arrogant son of a bitch. And not only are you an arrogant son of a bitch, you are an ignorant son of a bitch. And not only are you an ignorant son of a bitch, you're a shipless motherfucker.
Okay, so come on, let's stop the personal attacks and
you
spot on with everything he said, though.
Yeah, yes, he was. But let's not continue the conversation further.
It should be in there. I apologize. I mean, I my bad if you feel that way, bro. I don't know what to tell you, but the doom and gloom thing. Let's go back to the topic. The doom and gloom thing. I just came to the consensus that it is impossible to change the United States, or you say North America, Canada. Like to me, all of it's the same. The Western world is cooked. Like I apologize. Like I mean, there is no amount of money. Like sure, like I can save. The Bible says only 144,000 of our people are going to be saved anyway. So a lot of us are going to be fried, and it sounds fucked up, but it just is what it is, bro. And you saying it's arrogance and all, it's not, bro. And like I literally went to prison fighting for us, like fighting the police on behalf of us. It didn't matter. Voting didn't matter. Voting for Obama didn't matter. Voting for...
You think you were the president? How long you locked up for?
Like 2 years, bro.
You locked up 2 years fighting police?
Yeah. And I did a year in solitary for starting a riot. But none of that shit matters. None of that shit matters.
You don't do... Why are we not listening to the gospel?
Wait, what? You think I'm lying to you, bro? For what reason do I have to lie to people on Clubhouse? See, that's the problem with y'all. Y'all so used to people telling y'all a lot. I don't even.
I mean, people do lie on Clubhouse all the time, though.
Yeah.
Like, there was a guy on here that said that he was like a rich basketball player and he literally lived in the projects with rats and roaches. So I don't believe nothing. There was another person that literally faked their death on here for GoFundMe money and came back on the app and said that they had a brain injury. I don't know. Motherfuckers lie. Nothing.
Wait, what?
Nothing you people do on this app. All you motherfuckers is liars to me.
Are you for real? You said you faked your...
Yeah, it was a girl. She faked her death season 1. Her name was Goldie or some shit.
Yeah, that's why I got up, bro. I was invited to come on this app. Like, you remember when you had to fight to be on here?
I'm out and doing something, but can you guys, without the conversation, do you want me to reset the room while I'm walking? Because I can reset the room. We're having a very important
reset, please.
And I left very competent people here to moderate while I'm doing something. And if you could just give me another hour or two, no, just an hour. So let me just reset the room. Thank you guys. I don't know why this room is still open, but I appreciate the conversation. I really don't. Because I went to sleep and woke up and went back, and now I'm out in the streets trying to get things done. But you guys, listen, you guys were having, welcome to the 420. You guys were having a very
good, deep conversation. And Marlene, did you notice we had all the players on stage and it didn't go left? We had Minfinity, we had Mountain, we had Band, we had Hurricane, we had Anthony, we had TC, we had, can you imagine? I was scared to death. I'm at my daughter's recital. I was scared to death that this room was going to blow up and get ignorant. But it actually was a very good space with intelligent people, knowledgeable people, bullshitters, unintelligent people, non-knowledgeable people, MAGAs, non-MAGA. It was a great space. And you guys have been open literally for hours since 6 o'clock. No, it was actually 9 o'clock New York time last night. So I appreciate you guys. I really, really do. Thank you so much for coming in to have this important conversation. If you have a pink ticket at the bottom, please cash your ticket in because it's very hard for us to ping one at a time every time we do open. So let me reset. There is a clip that I want you guys to listen to. I'm going to put my phone on music mode. It is very, very important. And it's also very, very informative. So if you could just be patient, take your meds, inject something, insert something rectally, drink something, just calm down for a second. You found that funny?
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Well, we gotta do sometimes what we gotta do. It's no dig, right? So here we go. I'm gonna do this, and please be patient with the audio because it might be a little shaky in the beginning, but once again, you are really going to get something out of it. And go back here, find out which one it was. Give me just a second. I hope everyone's having a great Saturday. Let me go mute for just 1 second, make sure this is the right one because it's not late.
And a shout out to everyone that stayed throughout the night and is still here this morning.
Good morning. It is Saturday, May the 9th. I'll see this story unfolding right now in the South that might not be at the top of your news feed. I happen to think it's the most urgent problem facing every one of us today, no matter where in the country we live. The story you might even think you know because it started like so many second-term Trump emergency blocking.
Can you guys hear this audio?
Yeah, we can hear it.
Okay, thank you. So I'll be playing this, and it's just listen, guys. I promise, it's very informative.
Like a shameless power grab by a wannabe dictator facing the electoral consequences of his deeply unpopular regime. But two major developments in recent days have turned this cynical Trumpian scheme into a real-time deconstruction of our multiracial democracy. What we're witnessing as a result is the dawn of the new Jim Crow era, one that uses the same traditional strategy of leveraging bad faith pretense and dirty tricks to rob American citizens of their voting rights or of the weight and value of their vote. The first part, the laying of the groundwork, you probably remember. And Donald Trump and the rest of his party losing the midterms because his policies are so fantastically unpopular, so he put forth a plan violently of targeted gerrymandering to rig congressional district maps so that Republicans would pick up extra seats without picking up any extra votes. It began in Texas, but a phone call from Donald Trump to Governor Abbott. Last August, Trump stated his desires very plainly. We have an opportunity in Texas to pick up 5 seats. We have a really good governor. We have 2 people in Texas. And I want Texas. I get the highest vote in the history of Texas. You probably know. And we are I don't know if I would be. I don't know. If the United States to stay anywhere with a Republican state house, one of the only GOP-led states to block the request from Trump was Indiana, where a handful of state senators, Republican state senators, voted down the effort to change their state map. Trump was quick to target them for retribution. In fact, this past Tuesday, in the Republican primaries in Indiana, 6 of 8 Republican state senators were opposed Donald Trump's redistricting effort and were voted out by the MAGA base and were replaced by Trump-endorsed candidates.
believe that redistricting should be nonpartisan. Democrats organized referendums to allow voters, the ones who actually had the choice to adopt new maps as a sort of a counter ballot. So for a while, it was fine. But then two rulings from two different courts changed everything. First, the U.S. Supreme Court effectively tore down the last real remaining pillar of the Voting Rights Act last week, erasing protections that were designed to preserve the voting power of black communities. That cleared the way for southern states to redraw districts in ways that will unquestionably dilute black voting rights, eliminate black majority districts, and roll back black representation in Congress. And they pushed to do exactly that. Louisiana, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, and South Carolina all began the process for implementing. On Thursday, Tennessee's governor signed into law a congressional map that will start to see that these two maps look the same. Look at the one on the left, look at the bottom left corner. Look at the one on the right. This new congressional map eliminates the only majority black district in the entire state, which is the Democratic House district surrounding Memphis. You already did it on the map. They took the 9th congressional district, which included Memphis and its surrounding area, and split it into 3 different districts. In gerrymandering speech, that's what's known as cracking. You concentrate population voters, and you crack the block into districts, diluting the voting power of that group. Every eligible voter in Memphis will get to vote this November, but their vote will last. Legislative committee met in Louisiana to discuss eliminating one of 2 majority black districts in that state. Louisiana is 1/3 black, and under the new map that erases a black majority district, the state will have 1/6 black majority congressional districts. Mind you, 20,000 people have already voted in the state's primary, which has now been suspended. Alabama Republicans are attempting to fast-track a new map targeting 2 predominantly black congressional districts. Over a quarter of Alabama's population is black. They may not have a single representative in Congress after this. They'll still get the gap of ballot this November, but their votes will mean less. By design, Mississippi Republicans will convene a special session on May the 20th to discuss its Supreme Court map. And to Florida Republicans, no time to pass a new map targeted 4 Democratic seats. South Carolina Republicans are trying to eliminate the state's lone Democratic seat held by Johnson. Except the leader there is infiltrated. When they do push forward, they will have to be their state primary. The others to block the Virginia Supreme Court ruled that the state's new map would have happened to Democrats that won the voting in my state of Virginia a couple of weeks ago is unconstitutional. It was essentially procedural. The referendum to redistrict was a constitutional amendment, and Virginia has a strict process for enacting constitutional amendments. In a 4-3 split decision, judges found a flaw in how the referendum was brought to Virginia voters, and they threw it out, without regard to the fact that Virginia voters voted 2 weeks ago to approve the amendment. Which is to say that the state Supreme Court in Virginia has invalidated 1.6 million votes. Has invalidated the clean preference for Democratic governance in Virginia that Virginia voters have voted for loud and clear since last November. You may be wondering how in a functioning democracy we can land in such a place where Louisiana's governor can suspend an election to push for a new map. And in Tennessee, it takes 4 business days to disenfranchise a million black voters. Florida, Mississippi, and Alabama pushing for a new map, but Virginia can hold a whole election to decide how to do that by popular vote. And the will of the people gets tossed out by the courts. It's really flashing like a warning light that we're slipping out of legally functional democracy. We're now in real time a patchwork legal system with broad congressional maps in some states. Like California has a nonpartisan redistricting commission. Virginia is also bipartisan. And other states leave it up to their legislature. In Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Republicans hold veto-proof majority in the state legislature. So it doesn't matter because the governor's a Republican anyway. They wouldn't veto it. But this means fewer legal hurdles to jump. In Florida's case, they just ignored their state constitution entirely. Back in 2010, Florida voters passed an anti-gerrymandering amendment. Florida's new map is being challenged on that basis, but the Florida Supreme Court is packed with Ron DeSantis and allies. So again, it's not going to matter. But the power to vote everyone to vote. If you're not living in Louisiana or Tennessee or Alabama or Mississippi, when we are living in a system where everyone's vote doesn't carry the same weight, it means your vote is not limited too. No matter how hard you vote Democratic in California or New York is great in half a dozen southern states, that is where democracy is defeated. In the abstraction, in the corrupting little power grabs and screens, democracy is not defeated because somebody stands up and says democracy ends like it.
Okay, I'm ended there. It's a little bit more, but this is what we're talking about, and I hope you guys are understanding. This is not a joke. This is not a game. This is not funny, and it's nothing to play with. We're going backwards. All that stuff that happened with our grandfathers, great-grandfathers, great-great-grandfathers, all the things that they went through is just being wiped away. The marches, the sit-ins, the not walking to work and not to the, taking the bus, hangings, decapitations, dragging, all that we went through. I know a lot of people don't care. I know our younger people don't know, and they're like, "Oh, that was then. This is now." But then it's coming to be now, right? So I guess I thought about this and been thinking about this, and I said, you know what? I'm not gonna stress out because maybe this is our reset. Because we've gotten to the point now where, oh, it's in two ways. Why should I vote? I'm doing the couch vote. I'm doing the couch petition. Well, we this and that. I mean, we got all kind of crap. I didn't vote for her because she's not black. I'm not doing this because it's just insane that we're the only people in this country who went through the kind of trauma and devaluation and demoralization and all these words I can come up with to be able to vote here after being brought here as slaves, after in chains. Not saying that we're not doing anything now, because if you ever come into 420, you know that I will always say we're excelling in everything from A to Z, from astronauts to zoologists. We got it. We're excelling in it. We're represented. But what they're trying to do, if you look and if you understand, it's just eat away, DEI, affirmative action, HBCUs, this, that, and third. Why is it always us? Why are we so heavily focused on what's going on with black people? It's just crazy. So if y'all want to play around and y'all want to make this a game and y'all want to go, well, it doesn't really apply to me because I'm rich. Yeah, look what happened to some of you rich people. Ask what happens when your money don't mean nothing before your skin color. Go back and look at some of that people thought because they were so rich they weren't black anymore. Right? Okay, so anyway, I was walking down. I'm going to land my plane so you guys can continue with this important and interesting conversation. All right, love you guys. Clubhouse love only. Thank you. Land my plane.
Lisa, thank you. Well, I can ask you one question, yeah? Because, I got kicked out of another room, innit? So I came to this room, innit? Because I'm talking about American politics. And they didn't like what I had to say, innit? It's like, you're not from America, you're English, so you can't say that. And I'm just like, wait, what the fuck? So I come here now and you don't say the same shit now. What I want to know here is that, I mean, I'm not taking the piss out of black Americans because, you look off your own things, isn't it? It's just like, is there no other way, Is there no other, go on, kid, go on. I know you got something to say. Shit. Dude,
are you trying to be productive here? Like, what are you getting at? Like,
I'm always productive, man. Always, yeah. So what contention do you have to say?
So my question for people who didn't vote for Kamala, how much is everything we're going through now worth you not liking her last and not voting?
All right, so
that's what I want to know.
All right, in response to what you just said, Big, I'm gonna go down the line. Big, what you just said, it wouldn't have fucking mattered. First of all. You think because I don't even know, like they said about Barack, I secondly, do you know what race is her husband? Tell me right now what race is her husband.
These are the conversations you don't have.
Does that matter? Look, I'm from Senegal, so I know her having president. Wait. Her having a Jewish
husband doesn't matter? Is that
no, it actually doesn't.
I digress. I no longer care. I give up. No. I'm beating a dead horse.
We're talking about candidate. Kamala Harris was the candidate, not her husband.
Are you African?
This is sick.
Are you African?
Yes, and I have a badge and I can
tell
in this room. Thank you.
Yeah, of course you'd kick me out. Of course you would. Of course you would. Yeah, of course you would. You can't. Yeah, you literally can't.
What's going on? What?
Laughing doesn't.
This is a lot. Okay, I want to talk about Miss Misa.
Hilarious.
Does Miss Misa?
No. Sorry.
And y'all are asking.
Yeah, it's okay. Mama, do 1 second. Okay, it was I that muted you because you're interrupting. And you haven't actually answered his question directly. And if you weren't planning on answering his question directly, you don't need to answer, especially since you repeatedly stated that you don't care. So you're really talking a lot about a subject you don't care about. Now, Life, I'm not sure exactly what your question was or your statement, but you have something positive to contribute that would add substance to the discussion, by all means, feel free to say it.
I just want to say.
I'm the first minister, Marlene, I put a press newspaper because I'm an Englishman.
Hey, Mark, yeah, it's literally never closed. It literally never closed, and we're still.
I guess I'm glad I didn't boom this somebody.
Can you imagine we're gonna boom the room like at 11 o'clock, and it's now 11 in the afternoon, at least my end, which means that is a little crazy. We've literally been open since last night. Since yesterday.
I was in the room at the back of dawn, and it was still very much conversation.
Lively, and it wasn't even dead conversation at any point. It's been going live, period, all night, all morning. So, yeah.
I pick up your soul and that for letting us hear the listening experiences that you're providing. I appreciate that. For me, I don't have a negative bone in my body. To answer what you say, what I'm here for, my intention is to wake up people who are sleeping. That's all. And what I mean by that is, from 2026, from the start of this year, I've started that I felt a disdain for Black American politics. And when I say Black American politics, it's I think Black America could actually introduce their own political party. And I've been talking about this since the start of this year. And it's not like it's not going to happen in Clubhouse. It's just to introduce that to your awareness, And for me, even yesterday, the reason I'm coming to Clubhouse, we're back right now, because in England, you have the old white people creating a new political party to get rid of immigrants, I'm just like, what the fuck? And I'll never get into it, because what I've realized, like I said in the other room, what we'll keep out and people are angry about this, is the parallel between old white Englishmen, in outer metropolitan areas, and centralized inner city Black Americans. They have the same psychology. And I'm making this parallel here because there's so many references. It's not located to people in lower social demographics. It's more allocated to Black Americans who have who let's say middle class. Let's just say that. And I don't. The reason why I don't, and it's not negative. Yes, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be negative. I just don't like American politics personally. I am. And that's a strong word for me to utilize because, I'm a positive person. I don't have one hateful bone in my body at all. I just don't like American politics. I think it galvanizes the people in the wrong way, and for people to have two choices, between Republican and Democrat, and
integrating middle class Black Americans into Republic. I didn't study politics, but I was, listen, man. So who here in this room actually? Let's say this here. Let's do this. Who here in this room is a Republican?
I mean, I to be honest, I was. And like, I vote the very first time, but I did it for the tax breaks, bro. I'm not even, like, the very first time, like, when I first gained wealth, the very first time I did vote Republican. You get what I'm saying?
What election?
But I am not an idiot to the point to where, like, I can't watch something blow up and go down with the ship. Hold on. Hey, stop it. ID. Yeah, stop that. I'm not an idiot to the point to where I can watch something blow up and I'm gonna go down with the ship for the wrong cause. You get what I'm saying? For us, I'll gladly blow myself up, but not for some idiotic reason. So I will say I did vote Republican.
Life, I want to ask you a question.
Did you vote Republican or did you vote for Trump? Because those are two different things.
Republican. I did. Did you not? I did it specifically for the tax breaks, bro.
Yeah,
once you make over 150,000.
Got it.
What?
Like when life, I want to ask you a question.
No, I couldn't hear you.
Life, I want to ask you a question. Hey, Dad, let me ask him something. Let me get it, bro. So, let me ask the question. How do you feel, right?
You check off, what?
How do you feel, right? Based off of just stated. What is a lot of similarities between America and England, British politics?
That was my question.
I don't see the major difference, and you said that you don't like American politics. So what is not similar to you? Because it's very similar to me. So what isn't it similar? How do you feel it's not similar to England? Because it is. It is not more political parties, but British politics is similar to me. So go ahead. What is it you don't like? What is not similar? What is similar?
I don't agree with that.
Okay, yeah, no, cool. So you're saying what is okay? So what do I mean? What I said? So like I said, I agree with you. I didn't say the opposite to that. I think that American politics and British politics are the same. It's just personally, I'm bored of it. Yeah, and I realized that maybe 10 years ago, and when I started to realize, because so basically, I built a cap, yeah, in
Smitty, I didn't graduate from high school.
Well, I mean, look, all I'm saying is, I don't know about all that, but all I'm saying is though, yeah, like, I graduated from School of Life, yeah, just to answer your question if you want to get off, yeah. So even moving forward from that, for me, the parallel between the cultures is because you are from British culture, essentially, yeah, like not just Black America, there's American culture in general, is based off English empire. And you know, I'm an Englishman. It's just for me personally, right? When I see middle class Black Americans integrate because of Donald Trump, I find it quite dangerous. And so I'll give you an example.
Integrate. What do you mean by integrate?
Well, assimilate, integrate, osmosis. I mean, like with it, salt, pepper, like what? That's all the same shit.
No, but what do you mean by that? Are you saying like me voting? Like me, like to be honest, I didn't vote because I'm a felon. But if you would have asked me what my political affiliation was at that time.
Hold on. Let's stop the nonsense, yo. Okay, did you just say that you voted for Trump because of your financial bracket?
Jeez.
Yeah.
Now you're a felon.
But now, you know, like, come on, yo. Why y'all listening to some nonsense like this? Bro, have a good day, bro.
Thank you so much, Bob. Thank you.
Zero toughness.
But people still haven't answered my question. Those of you who voted for
zero toughness on a serious issue. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, I hear you, man. That was wild.
That's what I'm trying to understand, given what we're living through now. Like, those of us with money are struggling right now. What do y'all think?
It was going back to that, and I'm not doing the nonsense with Reverend because it could be a dumb fucking question.
Now, damn, Trump is a felon who is affluent. Like,
Reverend, clearly you didn't listen to what he said. He said he voted for Trump, but then he said he's a felon. A felon can't vote. So which part are you going to understand?
No.
Okay, have a good day.
I'm even American.
It's a serious topic. You're not doing the nonsense with thinking mentally ill today. Have a good day.
Yeah, what's going on?
Wait, what happened? You guys, listen, I'm gonna tell you something. Me and my girl over there, Marlene, this has been all day. Wait, Marlene, all night, all day. See? And y'all ain't been here. So don't, me and Marlene had this going, didn't we, Marlene? We had it under control. We tag teaming the stuff out of it. And my girl held it down on the night shift. She
did. Yes, she did. I was there.
Yeah. So don't come in here and mess it up for all of us because she's not getting paid. She needed her beauty sleep. She devoted her time to this room for me. And I really appreciate that. This is the real kind of love I'm talking about. She went without sleep for me. So don't come in here and mess all this up. Now, it's going to be a goofy ass day because I'm usually not open, right, guys? We're not open on Saturdays.
We're not open on weekends, and so this is week's even wilder because it was like,
right? So we're willing to donate the time.
My bad, I was getting a haircut. I thought y'all was such a
Oh my God,
it was a real conversation.
Oh my God, I know. Okay, be quiet, Emmanuel. We got this. Get your hair done. We got this.
You know we love
him. I didn't even know he was in the room.
Yeah, he came in. I was just like, yes, wait a minute. He's he is with cutting. He'll cut you quickly.
Wake it up. All right, Emmanuel, get your hair done before he gets you bald spot or some shit like that and mess up your line. So anyway, today is the day we're being very lenient in what we're doing because we have a lot of people who've never been in this room before. I appreciate you guys for coming and spending your Saturday with us. And we'll go as long as the conversation allows us to go. After it, because politically correct is usually taking this spot. I don't want them to think that we're taking their time. So this room is going to go as long as you guys allow it to. And then after that, poof, me and Marlene got facials and pedicures and manicures and back massages and shit to get. So come on, y'all. Let's have some little bit of fun.
The problem, it's been going literally all night, all morning, steadily, and there's been no lull in conversation, which is why this is overlapped with the correct.
Yeah, and I will say, we could still listen to the replays because that Marlene tonight was kind of insane, wasn't it?
No, I just saw the replays. At some point, but
there's no replays, y'all. This shuts off after 12 hours.
Yes, 12 hours for sure.
So what happened after I left yesterday? Anything, or was it still?
Oh, let me just tell Marty real quick, and I go back on mute because I'm getting ready to go into a very large part of New York. I'm almost on 52nd. Okay, guess Van was in here, TC in here, Hurricane in here, Anthony in here, Infinity in here, Cass. I don't know what happened to Cass. He got kicked out early on. And then who else? Divine's been in here, Hattie's been in here, T.I.'s been in here, Mimi's been in here, RJ's been in here. I mean, Lord Jesus, and nothing happened. It was a wasn't it, Marlene? I was scared to death.
For the most part, I mean, we didn't have like some really crazy, so just call and just scream or make sex sounds. That was refreshing. So there was no freaks. It was like when it got heated. I mean, there were a couple crashes there. You weren't.
Totem pole came in here.
We figured we got that together.
All at the same time. You guys don't understand. That is almost never going to happen again.
You know, Kay, I basically never know. This honestly, this room has not closed since we opened. So no, I barely slept, and I've just been here.
So give us some grace, right? Give us some grace, you guys.
All right, love to you guys. And what's really bothering me, the more we talk about this, Marlene, the more I see we're in trouble as a community. These people are not playing with us. And I know we can vote Republican, but listen, I'm not voting Republican if I'm voting for shit that's going against me. Why would I go just because my whole, like that one senator said, this is a conservative state.
Wait, but listen, what are you voting for that's voting against you? You gotta break that down.
Okay, all right. Having programs set aside for people who need that type of intervention. Let's just say.
You can kick me off till I'm done, but if TC, if you ever apologize to Deborah, you out too, homie.
No, bro, I don't apologize for anybody.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Oh my God! What just fucking happened?
Oh wow! What?
Again?
No, he called me the bitch.
That's crazy.
No, he called me the bitch. He didn't call her a bitch, but he didn't want to apologize. So.
You know that. Wait, hold on for a second, you guys. Let me comment on that. TC said that he was going to apologize. Now, what had just transpired that made him want to? I don't understand. See, I don't understand you guys. I'm a whole-fledged grown-ass woman with responsibilities, and I have a lot of integrity. So I think I do. So if I do something disrespectful to somebody, you guys have heard me apologize to the point of looking weak on this app. So TC said that he was going to apologize. He said it. He said he was sorry. Now what just fucking fucked up happened right there?
I didn't know he apologized.
No, he did not. He did not apologize yet. He's been talking.
And that's why I texted you to ask. That's why I texted you to ask if you be in the room.
The first thing you should have fucking said was that.
Okay, so I don't know why he didn't say the first thing that came out of his mouth. Once again, I've been gone for 2 hours doing what I need to do, and we got moderators on the stage who was handling the room very nicely. So I think Marlene would have stopped it at some point if she needed to hear him, or he needed to speak up and say his intentions were to apologize. So I think whatever happened just now, I'm not sure why it turned out to be negative. But anyway, we're going to let that go. He's out of the room. I'm sure he's going to either call me or back channel me or some kind of communication. But you're right.
He got a number on Misa. Okay,
why would you ask me that? On the stage. Okay, so when I say call me, it can mean a lot of things. But my personal number, I've done business with this person. So I don't need to tell you guys all that. I really don't. But I shouldn't have even said it because I know where I am. I'm in the fly trap of vocabulary. If you say something on this app, a warning to everybody who's new and don't know this app really well, be very careful what you say, because you think you're talking in a flowing conversation with people around you who you can trust. That is not it at all. Just be very careful how you use your words on this app. That's from me to you. So anyway, oh God, where are we, Marlene? Take over, Marlene. It's just, I gotta go in here. I gotta go into the bank before they close. Go ahead, babe. You got it. Y'all got it.
Okay. Does
all of y'all.
Does anyone else have want to continue the conversation in regards to the clip that Lisa just played, or the conversation in general?
I'm assuming that no one's going to answer my question, so I won't bother asking it again.
Why don't you ask it again, just because there was been a bit of a detour in the conversation?
That's true. Yeah, I just want those of you who refuse to vote for Kamala Harris because of her laugh. Like, how are you feeling now with everything that's going on? Was it a strong enough news?
Who did not vote for her?
I'm just asking a question. I'm just asking a question.
I don't know anybody. I think people troll when they say that stupid shit. If you take someone's laugh and that's your reason for not voting for them, then you are an underwater basket weaver who needs to be, on the bottom of the ocean, the deepest ocean on planet. People who didn't vote for them is because of the failures of that administration that they cared about, things that they were looking to see. And if more people said that they did not, I went to the stage last night. If more people said that they weren't happy, and people who said they were happy, then that person's going to get voted out. That's same with the Republicans. I mean, they're going to get voted out based on people not satisfied with their performance. And we're going to see that when the Democrats take over. We're going to see that when the Republicans take over again. Local, state, federal, people are going to get voted out if they have a good challenger and have a good message. Excuse me. So, does that make sense? Where did Big M go? Oh, Big M.
That
actually is not a problem.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that.
I just feel like I did not like their. I think they were just too late. They were. What do you call it? What's they saying? $1 short. You know, whatever that saying is. When it came to the border, they waited
a day late,
to act
$1 short.
Yeah, day late, $1 short. Thank you. When it came to the border, they spent 2 years saying everything is good. And then when I said, shit, people actually see it's not good. Let us go back. Let's try to find this bipartisan legislation, right? You know, a year before the election. By that time, there was already people flooded in the streets of big cities because of what Texas and Florida did. So.
Can I also please reiterate, when that guy on that clip, and we're going to keep playing that clip about the entirety of it next time we open up the 420, because there's more. Hakeem Jeffries comes on and talks about this new Jim Crow movement. But how do you guys feel about an actual representative that these people voted in the state of, I think he was in Tennessee, saying that this is a Republican state? So we are doing Republican values, and everybody should be fucking Republican who represents the people of this state. How do you guys feel about that? Because everybody in there in Tennessee is not Republican, and there are white people there who are not Republican, Hispanic, Asian, whatever. But he literally said, this is a fucking Republican state, bitches. If you don't like it, bitches, too fucking bad, bitches. Move.
I mean, the KKK was founded in Tennessee.
Do you think we need to start moving out of these states like this? Do you guys feel comfortable and you feel safe in a state where that they're telling you this is a conservative state and you're not really a Republican or conservative or MAGA? You feel comfortable living there?
Well, I can say that one of my close friends, he's a professor at the University of, I think the State University of Memphis. He teaches at a university in Memphis. And yeah, he tells me if he could leave, he would. But he's also determined to stay and fight. This is what I believe, and this may be naive. Out of all the states in America, only 5 of them are truly deep red. Most of them are purple, and people can be swayed. That's what I believe. Tennessee can be swayed. Because remember, there was a special election in which a Democrat came within a breath of winning. They only lost by like 3 points, which in Tennessee is insane. So.
But now it's gerrymandered. It's gerrymandered now.
So the gerrymandering, the only way to combat gerrymandering is high voter turnout, no matter what the state gerrymandering is. And that's notoriously difficult, especially in minoritized communities like Black people. Across the board, Black people have a very low turnout rate. So I think that's the challenge. I don't think it matters as much. It's going to require more resources and more strategy, increased turnout. God bless Jasmine Crockett. Even though she lost, she turned out a record number of Black voters to the polls in Texas. So it can be done.
I can't help but feel like, obviously I'm not a voter, I'm Canadian, but I feel like all of this is being said and done to further not encourage people to vote. Because gerrymandering does what people are just like, it doesn't make us like, just like he said, it doesn't matter who you vote for. And I get that kind of sentiment, because when I was younger, I had that sentiment. And then as I got older, I realized how stupid that statement was. Because you have to realize that there are levels to this, right? And you just so nice to say that there really is. So pretty. So we have to make a choice of, you know what? If the more they don't want you to vote, is the more important it is to vote. It's any time that the people in power, or particularly they're against your wishes, they don't want you to do something, you double down. You make sure that it gets done, and you get sure that it gets done. Because if you have only numbers, that's the only way, as you said, Big M, to counter the gerrymandering, because they're clearly not going to stop with their agenda. Their agenda has been made clear in Project 2025. So none of this actually should be surprising, and it isn't to some people, because I remember listening to people argue and talk about the agenda, and other people were like, nah, it's not possible, which is very silly to say, because you clearly do not read history. To know that history repeats itself when people get into this comfort and ignorance of it and go into this thing of, oh no, we can't help it here, we have all this, and right. Again, history will prove you wrong. So all I'm saying is that it is fair to say.
I mean, because look at a place like like in the New England location. You have a lot of Republicans out there, but they don't have any representation in Congress. I mean, look at like New Mexico, millions of Republicans, but no real representation because of their gerrymandering.
False equivalence.
So that is not gerrymandering. That's just population vote.
False equivalence. Right. That's why you have more Democratic support in those states.
They're also more likely to be educated.
It's not. Even like the Chicago mayor, what's his name, Emmanuel? What's the old boy's last name? What's his name? The one used to be Barack Obama's chief of staff. Or whatever he's anyways, Rahm Emanuel. There you go. Rahm, yeah. I mean, even he mentioned, Arnold Schwarzenegger talked about it. It was on CNN. They actually talk about, like, okay, what Republicans are doing is bad, but Democrats are not perfect when it comes to also drawing their maps. They just don't do it in the middle, like the way Texas did. That's the main complaint. They usually wait until it's a census. This is where Texas pissed a lot of people off.
Why are you comparing political gerrymandering to racial gerrymandering?
Because what Texas did was not racial gerrymandering. There was no proof that Texas did.
It actually was. But what Virginia was trying
was definitely political gerrymandering, but it was political gerrymandering is bad as bad as well.
Yeah, that's why the Democratic Party at the federal level has been trying to outlaw the gerrymandering multiple times. There's plenty of attempts from Democrats to do that. Republicans are gerrymandering. So you don't get to now in 2026 pretend as though you care about gerrymandering, because you don't. The only reason why the Democrats are responding in kind right now is because Republicans have made this whole midterm election about saving Donald Trump.
Or next year we'll talk about the committee that air quotes their little districting.
You don't see this as racial gerrymandering?
I'm not saying it's not. All I'm saying is like let's not
Hold on.
I'm not finished. Yeah, hold up the mirror and look at the gerrymandering that states like some of the states I just mentioned. Look at what we do.
Okay.
But Amari,
they don't have any representation.
But Amari, do you really think that saying look at the mirror right now is positive or going to be effective for the situation? Like this is a fucking war at this point, bro. Beyond is before this, and y'all motherfuckers still want to be turning the cheek. Like, what does it matter?
I think if you want people to take you serious, you got to look in your own backyard and make sure that you're not doing the same thing.
So, Laurie, I agree to a certain extent, right? But you're gonna continue being a fight, bro. Yeah, y'all don't listen to Mari, man.
No
Keep
party.
going, Gorgeous.
No party is gonna sit here. No party. I'm sorry. No party is gonna sit here. No party is gonna sit here and allow one party to legally set themselves up to win the House of Representatives all the time. It's either you're going to outlaw gerrymandering across the board, whether racial or political, or you're going to have these outcomes happening now. There's no in between. Stop trying to make it seem like you do not understand why Democrats.
You don't have an overwhelming
They have made attempts. This was a liberal issue for a very long time. This was a top liberal priority for quite some time. To outlaw gerrymandering going back before the 60s.
Right. We're post-Trump era. Who's going to outlaw that now? Post-Trump era.
Yeah, and Trump. Yeah,
you want to go back to
that's the person that you support, though. You're saying
hold on. That's a fact. You don't have.
There's nobody running on that now because you know what? You know what's happening? A fact pattern has happened since when they actually started this journey to now. So events change the dynamic of the races all the time and the dynamic of politics all the time. I pretend as though that's not the case here because Democrats didn't start here. Factually speaking, Democrats have been trying to outlaw gerrymandering across the board.
Hold on, Haitian on something? Haitian, you there? Haitian,
what up? I'm driving. What's up?
You know what's crazy? What you have to understand as well is that they all want power, bro. Like both parties. It's not about fairness for this people. You know, you weren't in last night.
I understand that.
They both parties want power.
Okay. Both parties want power. And which party let's go with this, Maury. Both parties want power, right? Now, with both parties, which party
are you in the matrix, bro?
You're trying to make a concerted effort, Omari, to flatten the fact that we're talking about racial gerrymandering with the Supreme Court decision, and you're trying to force this conversation into a both sides conversation by saying
votes going up, and they're doing an amazing job in Georgia. And you were the person that said we were going to wait a few years from now. What do you have to say about that? Go ahead, G.
Gorgeous. All right, I'm being respectful of the room. You asked me like 17 questions, but the bottom line is Black people don't vote for Republicans. Black Republicans don't win elections majority of the time. White Republicans do not typically vote for you guys. That's why you keep losing. Black people are overwhelmingly Democratic. So to even suggest that Black people will somehow vote for a Black Republican is an insult to Black intelligence, to insult to Black voters, because you're saying just because someone that's Black is going to be at the top of the ticket, they're going to vote for them, as if Black people don't think about the policies that they believe in more than they do someone's skin color. So it's just really weird for you to even frame it that way. I guess that's what you're told in the talking points of the week for the Black Republican cult that you guys are in. But you asked me some other questions. I think you said something around
just you go to Georgia. Just and you're talking
Georgia. Oh yeah, you said something about Georgia. You don't know anything about Georgia politics right now. Currently, Georgians, we're fighting with the current state government about our voting rights. They're installing like committees and stuff to make majority Democratic strongholds in the counties here, and they're implementing policy that's confusing to the people that are running the elections, which could cause legal issues later. It's a whole list of things that they're doing. So please do not speak on Georgia politics.
just because more black people are voting doesn't mean that we're voting without issue. Okay? So I'm gonna need you to think a little bit more critical about that.
Well, the American people don't have a say in their politics, their policies.
Please. You sound like a Drewski skit right now. Let the Americans handle this real quick. So with that bill, right? And it's the bill. Was it 2020 or 2022? When did the bill pass? 2022. I'm gonna say around Rogers underscoring this. First time to say. When did the bill pass?
What bill are you referring to, sir?
The bill that can't put together.
This has been more than just one bill, but I think the bill you're referring to is what was widely regarded in the media as a voter suppression bill. That was 2022 or 23.
Okay, I'm going by memory. I don't feel like because I don't know.
That was a topic. It was
a topic that all right. So what we're seeing is the state is basically purple at the moment. You're most likely are going to have 2 Democrat senators, including a black man.
Mm-hmm. We work for a white man too. You know that, right?
Yeah. Also,
not just because someone's black, right?
But hold on. But you also had a black person win. You know, to go to your point, to kind of just dispel your point. You also had a black man go up against, which is the name of Herschel Walker. You also had a black lady in Virginia who won the Republican primary. You had another guy named John James in Michigan, right?
Yeah.
And so again, black people could win if we supported each other. But one,
no, black people are winning.
So to say that Republicans don't support black people, that's just been false. You had a person lose by
that makes no sense.
And Trump's you had a person won by like 800 votes in Trump's district, a black man.
There's only 2 Democratic spots, right? Like heavily, that's Savannah and Atlanta. What about the rest of Georgia, right?
That's why it's not 2 Democratic spots.
There's more, but you see the point, right? Like the majority of the state is going to go. The powers on the white side, population-wise, voting-wise.
Not really. I mean, Georgia is not just white and black. You know, there are more people there are more people in the city areas than there are in the rural areas. So when you're looking at the map, don't just assume that just because you have majority of the state, quote unquote, geographically is red doesn't mean that that's what majority of
that's exactly what I just said. Right? So Savannah and Atlanta, right? But the rest, let me switch the convert the term to make it proper. Democrat, Republican. The Republicans that participate, keyword, right, or overwhelming, the population is higher that participate than in Atlanta and Savannah. And Savannah are the high points of the Democrats. Is that not correct?
Would you characterize it that way? I can agree to that, but
you wouldn't agree. So
I would say Georgia right now is pretty split. It's pretty.
It's like half and half. A case, pretty purple. Like, can you name another case outside Savannah? Maybe Macon, Augusta, right? Again, high population of blacks, and the participation does not out the Republicans. That's what the problem.
I mean, we've outdone Republicans multiple times in this state.
In the state alone, right? So when was there a black governor?
I mean, we haven't had a black governor, but I mean,
black senator.
That's not representative of my point either.
We have one black senator right now in Georgia.
Yeah, we have black senator now. Yeah.
Okay, so you got one. How many? How many black senators?
Go your ego.
Like the thing out.
You trying to chew on gun.
Amadi, go ahead.
So
between Amadi and
face. So yeah, my point is right here. We're making I'm gonna make this point, and a lot of people heard this before, right? Black people only represent between 9 to 12% of office around the country. Well, the whole point I'm trying to make is just not enough participation. You're bound to lose from the start if that did not grow. That has to grow, right? And I think Amari had a good point where if you spread out geometrically, right?
they do? You'll win, but the population's not growing and people are not in the right spots. If they change a map, if you're in the spot, then there's nothing they can do. So you got to spread out evenly and then grow your population, and hopefully everybody has a cohesive political understanding. Nothing else is going to work. It's just not like that right now today. Everybody wants to stay with Atlanta being the center of the universe.
If they redline where you want to live so that you can't move to where you want to go, how are you supposed to get around that? Because redlining still happens.
I got you. If you buy a house, I got you. If you bought a house with a trust fund, they don't know who's coming in. But we can move on.
I just want to address that point because obviously Black people's political power is not in our numbers. It's in our where we are located in each state. The states where there are huge black hubs